What is up, party people?
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
We're having fun here at the Worcester Council Theater 3000 stream. Thank you all very much for joining us. No Bryan tonight. He's a ghost again. It's really sad.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Sit outside of his car protecting his catalytic converter.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I got a C4 charge on my new one, and I'm just looking out the window, waiting to press the trigger. I just woke up and I tried to drive my car away, and it sounded like a spaceship. And I pulled over. I looked under the hood first. Nothing wrong there. Looked under the car, and wow, a whole piece of my exhaust system had just been sawed out. A whole big chunk. So I gotta get that figured out. But I'm currently posting it on the Big Cartel. I've got some warning stickers for people to put on their car to dissuade this sort of thing from happening to them. And I don't know, Travis, do you have?
Oh yes, it's.
Do you have this? Can you? Yeah, that warning. This car's catalytic converter is armed with explosives set to detonate upon removal. So that's gonna be the case when I get my new catalytic converter or car. This could total my car. I am.
I'm curious to you. Is it going to be a target? Does it paint a target on your car? Like challenge accepted?
No, it shows that I'm willing to go down with the ship. If you try to take the catalytic converter, you're going to die, and so is the car.
Yeah, I like it. I hope it works, my dude.
I think it's going to work great.
Apparently, the economic development meeting is wild.
Oh, really? I didn't look at the agenda for that one, but I have the agenda center pulled up here.
Is that still going on?
I guess.
Let's try to pipe it in.
Sure. I'm just working on one thing real quick that I realized that we should totally have that I have never made. So, anything else interesting happened in the world of Worcester politics this week?
Well, let's see. The city manager and police chief both said that they think it's so terrible what happened in Memphis, but they're not going to change any of the things that are similar here that could lead to a similar thing happening. And we're going to talk tonight about body cameras for the millionth time in the 8 years since we first proposed this. And I'm probably not going to get anywhere with it. So that's great, right? And what do we have here? Oh yeah, right. I thought this was on Monday, but the Economic Development Committee is talking about inclusionary zoning, and that's important. I thought since that was yesterday, but I guess it is today. So yeah, that might be good to pop in, and I don't think the council meeting is going to start till that gets over. That's usually how it goes.
2019. So we need the help.
We just don't have captions on this.
Right now,
that's okay.
Program, you have to put a project.
We need more of that code.
As fast as you can, because this
that's a great
legit. That is a council fit.
I was in Boston, and all the homeless people, you know what I mean, they start using drugs, and the whole community gets involved in we're all going to have the same problem that Boston is having right now. There's a lot of people on the street that they're not going to make it. Okay, right now, right here in our city, we have kids, we have mothers, we have fathers that they have their kids, and they can't even, they can pay the rent, they don't eat. Okay, right now I know there's programs over here that they're helping, but it's not enough. Right now, the rent have to have a control. Okay, you have to put a control. You have to put a plan, because everybody's putting the rent higher and higher, but the minimum wage or the people is getting the same.
We missed a wolf paw.
Okay, so if they were paying $1,200, now it's $1,800, but they're getting the same amount of money.
They were
every
at
week. How they
the
gonna afford
candlelight
that?
vigil last
So you
night,
have to put a plan
but they were
together.
behaving themselves.
This is your responsibility. Okay, you are managing the city of Worcester. You have the power. Okay, you have the power to control this. Okay, this is your job. You guys are doing a good job, but you can do a better job because right now there's gonna
Fact
be
check.
thousands of people coming here telling you what the problem is.
Yeah,
She said we need
citation
help.
needed.
Okay, the city, the citizen of Worcester are telling you we need help. The help is
Oh,
in
that's a
you
vest
guys,
under there
right?
too. I'm
Your
liking
efforts,
this.
okay?
Who
So
is
you
this
have
guy?
the power to change this. Okay, right here we have a lot of people that they have the sign and
I've never
everything.
seen him
They
before.
are telling you we need help, and you are the one who can make these changes in our city. Okay,
It's a pretty
you have
flashy
the power.
fit
You have the
for
power to
asking
change
for
what the
public
city is
housing.
asking. Okay, all these families are suffering. Let's stop this. Let's help them out. Put a plan together. Okay, work at nighttime if you can, but put something together and make it happen. That's all I will say, and I want to thank you for my time. Thank you.
Can I just say something really quick? Okay.
Everyone woke up that poor kid in the back right with their clapping.
Yeah,
Idella
that's
has it.
sorry, Adela, my apologies. That is the whole idea around inclusionary zoning, and that's why we're here today putting this together. This has
Does Idella
not
even know
been
what
put
meeting they're in?
forward, to this
Yeah,
committee,
really.
ever. The three of us, this female to my left, and Councilor King and I, are very much committed to seeing this through, getting your testimony, meeting with every key stakeholder, and doing everything in our power to make sure that everybody has a piece of this pie so that we can help move forward and solve this problem together as a community. I think that this meeting is not going to conclude with us moving anything forward. We're appreciative of the testimony. We're going to get through Adela, we're
Interesting.
going to get through some people online. We'll hear from Councilor Rivera, Councilor King, myself very briefly.
Well-
we're going to have to move this meeting to another time, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully we could have more conversation about percentages and needs.
Well,
more
while we
look
wait
into the
for them to
policy.
reschedule,
We know
Bill,
that this is an issue. We know that this is a crisis. The minute that this was able
what's
to
going
be
on
Yeah.
here
for
down
this
at the banner?
community, the day that it was able to be.
Oh, yeah.
Work does their business and the city does their business is today.
You can now get
We
your
couldn't- the
warning.
first day that
This
we're
catalytic
able to
converter is
get
armed with
everybody in here to
explosives.
have these conversations.
Bumper
Welcome, Yenni.
sticker.
Thanks to our commitment.
Hey, what's up, Yenni?
Many of us have had hours and hours and hours of conversations on varying sides to be able to put this together.
Also, I
sorry,
haven't checked my big cartel in a while, and I see that there's a lot of orders going back to like
share a little bit of
November. So if that's one of you,
so that-
sorry,
Go ahead.
I'll get them in the mail soon.
They're just sitting there.
They're
Yes,
just sitting there. Yep. I'm-
That the gentleman that spoke about
Professional.
projects, housing projects,
Yeah, that's me.
might have been
Hi,
a
Yenni.
little offline. I don't
Hello.
think more and more housing projects is the answer because people get stuck there and they can't get out. They get too comfortable. I think something in between where temporary
Is this still
housing
the ED
coming out
meeting,
of
or?
shelters,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where they're not
I
actually
mean, South Mom
housing
put us on to how
projects.
wild this was, so
What we do
we decided to
need
tune in.
is
Yeah, there's a lot of people here. There's so many people testifying that they're
We've
going
been
to reschedule another meeting.
building
Oh, wow.
luxury apartments all
Yeah.
over the place. The buildings all the way from Front Street down to Foster Street. Who can afford that? And what's happened there? You see the rents in the paper, and landlords say, well, why can't I get that? And that's what they've been doing. I am not getting that. My rent is like $500 a month, less than that.
Yeah, you sound great.
And my mortgage has gone up $400. My taxes has gone up much.
How does your
maybe about
mortgage go up?
$300. I mean,
Well,
you have to understand,
mortgage,
landlords
some
have
people
to pay
consider
too.
their whole escrow
And
as their
it's a
mortgage,
tough
which includes property
balance.
taxes
I
usually.
don't know what we're
Okay.
supposed to do.
A lot of
Fair.
people are
If
floating
we
arms
put
as
a
well.
moratorium on rents, then please.
No, I'm saying adjustable
let's
rate mortgages. I mean,
Oh.
luxury apartments
so a lot of
and
people in
build
shitty economic times will get a 7-1 arm or a 10-1 arm or a 5-1 arm. So it's 5 years fixed, and then after
Thank
that
you,
it can
Mr.
adjust
Clerk. How many
to
people
market
do we
rates.
have online?
Mr. Chairman,
But if you don't
although no one's raising their hand
refinance
this
at the right
we do
time,
have
that could end up being the
attendees
better deal.
virtually. I'm not sure if any of them want to speak.
Sure.
but
Especially when rates are really high.
I'll just remind folks.
Thankfully, they're
Shaun
back down
Connolly
to normal, which
for,
is.
the raise hand function
I was
on the
actually
bottom
just
right
for whatever
corner.
it's worth. I know I'm
Person raising
starting to
their
actually pitch myself here,
Mr.
but
Clerk,
there's only 30 houses for sale in all of Worcester right now, which
Whoa,
is like
that's crazy.
unheard of. There's 33 and half of them don't even exist. They're all houses that are under construction.
I had
Huh.
to come here.
But
on
mortgage
my
rates are
birthday
back down
because
between 5 and 6%, which
it's hard
is
to go to high
that's
school
we're kind of where they probably should
I
be.
don't have a place to
They were
stay,
absurdly
knowing I
low
don't
before
have
last
clean clothes
spring.
to wear.
I think a little
It is
high,
not
but
easy trying
that's
to
a pretty
explain to
normal
my friends
rate.
why they can't come over or why they can't visit me.
I mean, we have a unit
I
that's
struggle with
about to
trying
come up
find
for
a
rent.
clean, nice home
It's a
to live in.
3-bedroom,
For as long as I can
and
remember, I have lived with mice and
we were
rats. That
told
is not
by,
what
like, we have a
grow
realtor
up
that we've got an
with.
established relationship with that's listed it for us in the
It
past.
has gotten to
And so I
me to
asked
the
her,
point
like,
where
so
I
what do you
feel
think
I
the
need
going rate
help
for it would be
by
now?
being clothes for myself.
And she's like, well, you could probably get
I
to up like
am 15.
2,600 for it. And I'm just like, excuse me, no?
At 15,
Ow,
it,
that's
at 15,
$1,000 more than the current people are paying. No, I'm not doing that to people. What?
I am done keeping quiet.
It's
I have
crazy
been
how much
told
it's gone
my
up.
life that I'm gonna make a difference, and this is where I start. Thank you.
The young woman was very well spoken.
Sorry, next time tell me to shut up.
It's all good.
Councilors, my name is Fred Taylor.
Fred
I'm a Worcester
Taylor.
resident. I'm also the president of the Worcester branch NAACP. I'd like to start off by saying happy birthday to you, and it takes a lot of courage for you to get up here and say something to everybody to fight for what you believe in. Today I'm here
He's
to,
a charming dude.
just appeal to
I've
you
had the
as a
pleasure of
council. I
talking to
wanna
him a
appeal
few
to you
times,
to
and he's
support
always just a
the
nice
Worcester
dude.
Together Affordable Housing Coalition's proposal. with
And his
affordable
grandson's name
housing.
is Travis,
We
so I had
really
that
need
going for me.
And personally, I think we need to go even further than that. But for right now, the first step I would say would be to accept the recommendations for that. We all know, and you hear a lot of
Yeah, this is the
testimonies
inclusionary zoning hearing.
on how they've been getting squares and getting crunched. We need more housing. We need more housing. We need more affordable housing. We need that 60% of AMI. We need that 60% of affordable housing here in Massachusetts and Worcester. So I just want to appeal to you and just ask you really on behalf of myself.
I really wish we could get an AMI that's literally just Worcester, not the surrounding towns, because that would
Thank you.
Yeah,
that would
right. That
change
would
things so
that
much.
would help a lot. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that you can't base it on just Worcester. Like
Thank you,
it
Mr.
has to
Chairman.
be on
First
the
person
metro
I can
area.
identify is Sheila Brenner. I just
And our
sent her a
metro
request
area
to
goes all the way
email.
down to Bridgeport, Connecticut. So yeah, that's not helpful at all.
Hi, my
Damn.
name is
Yeah,
Sheila
right.
Brenner. I live here in Worcester. I just want
Yeah, this
to
is still economic development.
state that you have heard the testimony of the citizens of Worcester. We need affordable housing. It's very reasonable to go with the Worcester Housing
Oh,
Coalition
ED.
suggestion of 60% to begin with. And our priority should be with the people who are living here, not with the developers who have many.
Yeah, and the
people
HUD numbers are based on
making
the
lots and
metro
lots
area.
of profits. And it's about time.
New
that
England is
Worcester
kind of
thinks
weird
about
for
people
what
rather
they
than the
consider a metro
profits. I
because our
encourage you,
cities and towns are so geographically
you
small, and our
to
counties
Yeah.
are
follow the
kind of big and
60%
old.
and
They
make
lump
that a
them
starting
together. So
point
yeah,
so that
if
people
you look
can
at
live a life of dignity
the
in
census
Worcester.
tract
Thank
for
you.
Worcester, it's like North Worcester
Thank you.
County down to Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Thank you.
I
Mr.
didn't realize
Travis,
it went across the
last
Connecticut border
person
too.
raising their hand
Yeah, it
is
does,
Yeah,
just a little bit.
very weird.
I just muted her now. Maya? Mr. Chairman, it doesn't appear that. Oh, there we go.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
We can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hello, counselors, and thank you for having this public discussion. My name is Maya Pfeffer, and I live in District 3. I'm a navigator in the Integrated Dual Disorder Treatment Team at Open Sky Community Services, and my role there is to help people who are struggling with substance use disorder and mental health issues to accomplish their goals in recovery and life in general. Out of the clients that this team works with, the majority are housing insecure, ranging from having to use 80% of their income on rooming houses, bouncing between treatment facilities, and even living in tents on the street. This is no way for people to recover. Even measures such as shelters that have been put into place to help those on the streets are a mess. Rather than being a safe haven, my clients report theft, assault, and trauma coming from these very shelters that are supposed to be protecting them from these issues. What I've seen while working at Open Sky is a general lack of units without even considering affordability. Many of my clients have SSI, part-time jobs, or even full-time jobs, and still cannot find a room to rent, let alone having their own place. Section 8 and CHAMP also have ridiculously long wait times, and even getting financial help does not guarantee a home, since most apartment buildings have 2+ year waiting lists. This is really unacceptable for market value, and the wait lists are even longer for those who need affordable housing or accessible housing. In order to recover and progress, my clients need housing first. This is why I really appreciate that this issue is being discussed, and I support the Affordable Housing Coalition's requests. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maya.
Mr. Chairman, there's no one else raising their hand at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Whereas we're heading into our city council time, I'm going to pass it over to Councilor Vera and then Councilor King for some brief comments, thoughts. That will conclude the meeting. After that, we will get another meeting on this topic up as quickly as possible. We will send the testimony from you all back to the administration for them to think about what was being offered and to look at the plan and see if there's any ability to modify based on some of the recommendations that were offered here this evening. With that being said, Councilor Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just really want to say thank you for allowing the potential of collecting this information and really going back to make sure that this ordinance is reflective of the voices of this community. I think that's important. I'm going to just make a couple comments and then I'll put some questions out that we don't have to answer now, but I think has to take a look at as we move forward and come back and really quickly. You know, if there's any support of any kind, federal or at a state level, these things should be treated as a TIF. Why are we not holding these developers
Brian is not okay.
accountable?
He's a ghost.
Do they tell us, or do they tell us kind of what we need, or are we telling them? It's kind of like I've said this multiple times. We in Worcester needs to stop acting like we're.
Do you guys want an apartment on top of Walmart?
If we have over 6,000.
Yeah, there's all that free stuff under it.
Would that be like the Worcester version of apartments around Whole Foods out in Shrewsbury?
Ordinance that we're looking at now. And that's one question. We don't
So
need
like,
not, and if that
I worked
is,
for a
that's
civil engineering
problematic,
company
and
that would
that's
make these
concerning in itself
lows
as we're
with a
starting to
parking
develop.
lot on top because that was always the issue of
When we
putting
look
lows
at,
in like
there's
dense
like
populated
several buildings
areas
that are coming
is
up in
they
my
don't have the
district,
footprint for
and there's a
parking.
lot of concern
That
regarding
is a lot of
gentrification.
open real estate that it would
We
be
need to really
interesting
look
to
at-
put
we need
something
to
on
not
top
be
of all that.
afraid to set specific
I vaguely
guidelines
remember
for
seeing a
development.
Costco development that
ask the
had
question,
apartments on top of it
kind of housing
on
are we
Twitter a couple of
making?
days ago, and I was like, that's interesting.
At this point, how are we making
get-
the problem worse?
I like shit like that.
Really
I think
looking
that
at,
kind
are
of
these
like
projects that are
integrate. I
coming
mean,
up
not
now,
Walmart,
are they
but the
exempt? And
integrated
if
living
they're
and
starting now,
purchasing.
what does that
Like,
mean? Does that mean
that's
that
interesting
they
to
have
me.
filed with the license commission? That
Yeah.
they have come before
I
zoning?
think it's,
Like,
that's
what
just
does
density and
starting
stuff.
actually mean? We think
I
we
like
take a look at
Walmart
that.
a lot.
Expiration
And I
is very
particularly
concerning.
like
It's
the
something
noxious
that
combination
I know
of
that
smells
Mr.
when you
Russell
first
was.
enter a
We were
Walmart.
looking
Between the
at
Walmart
certain
itself
buildings
and the
that were
subway,
expired, and this was
that's one of the most
that
unique
was
and
looking at
specific
30
smells there are to
years,
smell
30 years
on
thing,
this
30
God's
years
green
ago
earth.
happened.
Yeah.
We really need to take a
Um,
look at that 30-year mark, because
and
then we're going to be
I
looking at
have once or
prices.
twice
And
sat
we
and
actually
ate a
need
Subway
already
sub in the
what
Worcester
buildings
Walmart.
are up for
And it's one of the bleakest experiences
that are
that you
affordable,
can have
potentially
in our
could
great
become
city.
an issue.
It is
We definitely
really,
need to
it's a
really
liminal
need to up our
space,
numbers regarding
I
the
would say.
ADA and wheelchair accessible
I lived by
apartments.
that
I know
Walmart,
this
so
is
I've
a
definitely
conversation I've
purchased
had
the
with
Subway
Worcester Housing.
sandwich and taken
There's
it
been
home,
these
but I've never
apartments do
sat
not
there in
rotate
that
often because
like
people
6
usually
table
are living
sad
longer,
zone
and
and
also
eating a
which is a
sandwich.
great thing.
Oh yeah, the sad zone is,
There's
the sad
families
zone
that
is
didn't
real.
have the same ADA laws when some of these buildings were
There's
written.
something
Like,
about Subway
what
and that, like,
choices?
To take a look at
that
our
bread
ahead,
smell that just permeates is like, that's the only, it's the only restaurant or like food establishment that I've walked into and immediately got less hungry than I was when I opened the door.
Yeah.
Like, I'll still eat it, but I just,
before, we need
every
to really
bite's
look at
going down
economic
kind of
development
sideways.
from a critical
Isn't
lens
it
Yeah.
not
to
technically
potentially
bread
use our
too?
workforce
Like
with
there's
people
not enough
that are working in
ingredients
these
in, or it was
facilities
something in
and
the
cannot even
UK
afford
where they
to
couldn't
live
classify it
where
as
they
bread.
work. So these are
There
some of
was,
the
I
things
think it
that
was the
we
Los
need to
Angeles
look at.
Times did a big investigation into whether or not the Subway tuna was tuna.
Oh, I remember
Uh,
that.
and they found that there's no way to prove that it's tuna.
You know, I just
It's
want
something else. They did like DNA analysis.
out tonight, particularly River, who I think is left perhaps.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and stopping ordering the tuna.
Sharing.
Oh, it made me love it even more.
What it's like to.
That's how I feel about chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets and hot dogs.
Yeah.
More lips and assholes, please. Bill, Mo Bergman asks, do you feel like you manifested getting your catalytic converter stolen by making fun of when Sarai brought up prevention techniques?
Rents have gone.
Yeah, I think Sarai stole it to prove a point. That's what I think.
I mean, it was done by a professional, right?
Increases.
It was a clean cut.
It was a very clean cut. Yeah, and you know what? I guess I might have manifested it.
To not have housing.
So that's fucking cool. Yeah, so there is a public safety subcommittee meeting that got called, but there's no agenda yet. We have no idea what they're talking about, but I'm sure it's going to be nothing good because it never is.
I've had discussions, and I appreciate the administration.
Nah, K2Me never does anything with those.
Worcester Together Coalition, Housing Coalition. You know, and a lot of work has gone into this. And I want to say, I first started having these discussions with the administration prior to our current city manager back in 2018. And there was folks working on this issue in our community in the housing advocacy world prior to that. So this is the first formal response from the city of Worcester, but it came as a result of work in community and by electeds. That being said, you know, I come from a family of immigrants. I come from a family who have struggled with housing. I have current family members struggling with housing. I work with young people, young adults who are currently going from car to car and sleeping in abandoned houses and trying to find jobs and what have you. So I know the reality, and I also know the health impact. You can't lift yourself up if you don't have a stable place to be. You can't address your mental health concerns. You can't address your financial concerns to meet basic needs. We know that
it's February 8th, it's next Wednesday.
And the other piece is what we are seeing is we're seeing our workforce not be local. We're seeing our young people who are graduating from our colleges and universities, young folks like my daughter, struggling to stay here in the city of Worcester. Why is that important? Because it once again goes back to children and families and working people and their support networks. And if you're out of the city of Worcester is a hub. It's a hub of services. It's a hub of business. What does that mean? Jobs, treatment, support, family, public transportation. All of those things intersect. And that's why this is.
Yeah, I guarantee you they're not going to discuss the Department of Justice investigation even a little bit.
Cerebral palsy. He's never
Not at
walked.
all.
He's over 30 years of age. And to think about
Unless they complain that they weren't properly notified.
having to lift him to the third floor.
I'm going to demand the U.S. attorney come to answer their questions.
Yeah, right.
If that were the case.
Why are you so mean?
It's certainly moving. I certainly support the 2.5% ADA requirement. I will go on record again. I've said repeatedly that 60% doesn't go low enough. I think it should be 50%. But we've had folks working on this to work with our developers, work with our housing coalition to come up with something fair. This has gone before the planning board. Planning board has made their recommendations for inclusionary zoning. I want to again go on record. I support 100% increasing the parameters of the proposed ordinance. I certainly support adopting a 50-50 hybrid model as recommended by the Planning Board and the Affordable Housing Coalition, that would guarantee a minimum of 5% of units, 12 and above, be set aside for households at 60% AMI. That's the least we can do. I hope that as we come back and we
It
move
wasn't
forward,
that
we
much
continue to
before
work,
they got the
that we can
investigation. Though.
figure out those specifics.
Couple hours.
If we're talking about 80% AMI,
No, it wasn't even. I think they had a meeting and like a half hour later it was public.
folks who are going to have to
Like they
meet
were
Yeah, it
still
was
in the
something-
meeting when it went public.
minimum wage.
Yeah, but also like
Household,
you've never done anything about
gotta make pretty good money.
the issues that the Department of Justice is looking at. Why do you deserve to be notified?
Not there
Right.
to provide oversight. You're not there to provide for the older folks, your parents or grandparents you're taking care of. We're coming into a place in this world where we have the sandwich generation. There's a lot of baby boomers that are getting
If you've
older.
ever been called to or sat in on a grand jury, it's kind of wild when you realize the kind of conversations that take place around actual humans' lives that like nobody's even aware of. It's really kind of neat to realize that same thing happens, but on a government level, and like a city or a state can be completely blindsided by an investigation. They had no idea anyone was talking about them in private meetings.
I could be wrong. You know, and
Worcester's in so many burn
chair for
books.
additional meetings. You know, I hope,
Hey,
Mr.
truly.
Chairman, we go to second.
Not
readings
least of
with
all, the
this
Nipmuc Indians.
Yeah.
prior to council.
First.
But we need to
Successfully burned twice.
Yeah.
move
Third time's the charm.
behind. We've seen so many.
Well played.
So much housing. And yes, we've heard of WBDC and others talk about working with the private sector to do affordable housing. It's important. But it's also important what level of affordability we're at. And the last thing I wanted to mention is, you know, this isn't about development versus people. Folks are developing for people. It's the specifics. It's specifics. And this is real life. And it really matters, Mr. Chairman. Again, we can reconvene and make some decisions, but you know, the health outcomes of our kids and our families are dependent on this. You know, and I look forward to moving forward, but I want to be clear and on the record as to where I am at this time.
Thank you, Councilor King. We all have our own individual stories, you know, and our personal and professional lives that make this.
I haven't heard anything about a shooting at the Holyoke Mall.
Hear you. We want to thank you all for coming out. Again, this
Yeah,
meeting
someone in
was
one of the hair and nails places at the Holyoke Mall was shot and killed, I think, as a like bystander effect issue.
I hope you all come
Oh,
out
boy.
and advocate and share your thoughts and ideas about some of the language.
Y'all hear about the shooting at May and June Street a couple nights ago?
No.
Yeah, there was gunshots around 1 in the morning, probably about 10 or so of them, and like some cars got up and stuff.
But I did file an order on council pertaining to this matter, asking for sort of a delineation of folks who actually
Seriously,
work for the
Tara,
city
stop.
currently, at
I agree, Tara.
60% or 80%. You know, a sort of.
How is she coming through differently on these?
You know,
Loud.
folks would
Okay.
be qualified.
I wasn't sure how it was picking her up or not.
Depending, and so
She's decided she's going to anger eat instead.
I don't remember the exact wording of it.
I'm okay with this. She doesn't eat enough.
Try to get that order.
That's
back,
how these meetings make me
for our
feel
next
too.
meeting.
I have a chicken pot pie
Thank
in the
you. And
oven.
again, thanks for being out there and hanging with us for these last couple hours. We're going to get through this together. We look forward to seeing you all.
Tara would be really horrible at ShotSpotter's job.
Please just make sure you hold the item.
Something will make a noise and she looks in the opposite direction down the street. She's
hold the item. Thank you.
no.
That's pretty close to what ShotSpotter does. So
That's true.
yeah. Yeah, so I didn't quite catch. King said he had some sort of relevant order on for the city council agenda about area median incomes and such, but I don't think I saw that. Let me take a little quick look here. We're probably going to take a lot of time tonight to talk about body cameras in a way that's going to be incredibly fucking frustrating. And I'm not excited about it. But we're also talking about the equity audit, which I believe has not been completed yet. Oh yeah. What do we have here? Yeah, there's four or so items here filed by Christian King on body cameras, the Worcester Police Department equity audit, and other than that, this is going to be mostly a let's listen to the city councilors' ideas sort of meeting. Oh my God. Listen to this one from Mo Bergman. Request city manager, request commissioner of public works and parks provide city council with an update concerning how the new covered trash bins have performed with respect to windy days. We are never, ever going to stop talking about these fucking bins. Like, it's going to be a perennial issue for that. It's just ever. Like, no bin is ever going to be good enough for these people.
Did you see the fact that they actually finally have enough bins that they're offering them to the public again?
Wow, really?
They put out a thing about the recycling bins that you can now pick them up at certain locations at certain times of day. And I'm just like, oh, so you haven't delivered them to everyone, but you're going to offer them on location and not deliver them anymore. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, right.
My recycling people tossed my bins so hard that the strap snapped. So now the top isn't connected to the bin anymore. So now I just don't put the top on, and it's basically back to where I was.
I would love to know how many cities in America consider a zip tie to be a hinge.
I thought about that and I was like, who is the poor sap in Department of Public Works that was like trying to fulfill the mandate that we need these to be hinged?
Who's the sap that has to connect them? Because those are done by hand.
Yeah.
And
somebody had to zip tie all of those.
Somewhere buried in next year's municipal budget is going to be the line item where like the zip ties get shifted from the police department budget over to the DPW because they didn't get to use them during 2020.
Yeah.
They expire. You know what I mean? Shit. They are about the same zip ties, about that thickness that the cops would use around your wrist.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the post I made on Twitter about the trash bins in New York City?
No, I did not.
In New York City, they literally have the rolling bins just outside their house, and the trash comes up, goes to the curb, grabs it, puts all the stuff in, puts the bin right back up against the side of the house.
Wow.
Granted, I mean, they're like 10 feet from the curb at that point because it's literally just sidewalk, stairs, and then the space between each set of stairs for brownstones and stuff like that. But like, they're all over the city, all over. And if New York City, with how tight and populated New York City is, I think we should be able to do it here.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, 10 years from now, we'll try it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the part that sucks, though, is that we're at the will of any trash collector that's willing to bid for a city contract, and it's on them to be able to be the ones to upgrade their services and make it worthwhile. Yeah, I mean, those have been around forever. It's but I mean, like trash removal it's an engineering problem. It's not something that hasn't been figured out. It's the same thing that we have with Charter, right? Like we have substandard cable and internet service until Verizon says, hey guys, like maybe we'll throw some stuff in. Now suddenly my internet speeds have never been faster.
Right.
I'm getting a letter every week promising me I'm never going to see another upgrade or in costs for the next 400 years. We're just such a weird backwater in the sense there's no reason for anyone to come here. So our services stay substandard if we don't bring them in-house.
Right. Whoa, I just saw a picture on Instagram. There were a lot of people there.
Yeah, it's totally impossible, Matthew. It's totally impossible. That building there, those bins that were out there were for 6 units.
Yeah.
Well,
Yenni, do you know if New York
It's a
does New York
6-story
handle
walk up.
does New York handle its own trash removal? I'm genuinely not
I
familiar.
believe so. I think it's like partially subcontracted in terms of like how the work gets done, but it's all managed by the city because they have a huge system because they've got so many people in such a small area that they manage their own trash and like the dump and waste management stuff is all city operated.
And for us, it's we handle trash, right? And then recycling is outsourced.
Recycling is Casella.
I think it's both technically outsourced. One's Superior Waste Management, the other one's Casella or something there. I'm not sure exactly.
You know, I just, recycling, let's just get rid of it.
Totally.
Let's just accept the end.
Dude,
Let's
even
just-
Greenpeace says like you're wasting your time. If the people that basically invented the idea of recycling are like, look, all you're doing is selling your garbage to poor countries so they can dump it in the ocean for you. Like,
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. Yeah.
bring back a landfill. Let people smell it. See, it'll just have a smoldering burn pit, and then like let people think through consumerism on like a more nuanced level.
You know what's interesting is there was just a Boston Globe story, like a pretty big like sort of Sunday page 1 story about how all our landfills are going up to rural Vermont and New Hampshire because Massachusetts environmental protection laws have made it so hard to operate a landfill that they're just going up to like these like totally off the beaten path little podunk towns in New Hampshire and being like, we're opening up a landfill and it's going to benefit the community. We'll build you a new rec center. And then it's just a constant stream of trucks from Connecticut and Massachusetts going up there to dump their trash.
Well, that's what they get for having low populations, Bill.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yep, that's just what you get. And apparently they're just breaking every single promise that they promised and every single rule that they're supposed to follow. And just, it's the town lawyer of like Township 457 in New Hampshire up against like a law firm representing Casella, and they just keep them in court for a century and not even feel it. Yeah.
The downside of not having zoning laws. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. This city council meeting is probably going to be longer than the ones we've experienced because there are quite a bit of orders to get through. And a lot of them were the kind of things that I just kind of immediately just stopped absorbing the information when I read through them. What do we have here? We have one from Donna Colorio about expanding the dates people are allowed to drop off their Christmas trees. That's riveting stuff. Request city manager, request public commissioner works to provide city council with the recycle bin update. And then we have a senior citizen real estate
tree
tax
thing,
exemption.
actually, like, I know a couple of people who got really pissed off about the tree dates because there wasn't a decent amount of them after the Epiphany.
What?
Which is January 6th.
What's the Epiphany?
It's Three Kings Day. Come on.
What?
Bill. You haven't read your Bible?
There's a day called the Epiphany?
It's also called the Epiphany.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know dick about shit.
I grew up calling it the Epiphany, not Three Kings Day, so it.
But it's the same thing.
But the Three Kings were there on Christmas.
No.
Why?
No, they didn't get there till the 12th.
They didn't get there until 12 days after.
I thought Christmas is on the 12th day of Christmas.
No.
No.
Christmas is on the first
Christmas
day.
starts the 12 days.
Little baby
then
Jesus comes.
Why do you eat the little candies like leading up to Christmas and
It
not
reminds you about blood and shepherds and shit. And then little baby Jesus. And then 12 days later, you get rid of your Christmas tree.
Chocolate doesn't make me think of any of those things.
God damn it.
My Christmas tree's leaning against my garage in the backyard, waiting for it to get just dry enough so I can burn it. That's
yeah.
There's a lot of farms who love to take them.
Yeah, goats eat them.
Yeah, they love
And
them
pigs.
apparently. Mine is packed up in a box, shoved back in the attic where it belongs, while my neighbor's is in back, and the dogs are peeing on it every day.
You don't want to burn that one.
His dogs too, so it's a collective effort.
Orthodox gets even. I don't want to hear even a little bit about how Orthodox does Christmas.
Also, the dates for the Epiphany are different and stuff like that. It gets them. If you try and include all of Catholicism and all of Christianity's different dates, it gets a mess. It's almost as bad as trying to match up the Jewish calendar with the Gregorian calendar.
Did somebody just start a Zoom? Did you guys hear that?
What? That's
never
you.
mind.
You did that.
No.
It's too early for you to be this high, Travis. Come on, man.
No, I heard recording in progress, but I have the stream up, but it's just sitting here. It's not doing anything, but it must have been something on there.
What's a sin worm? I don't. I take it back. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Don't tell me what the sin worm is. I can't handle it.
I bet the sin worm did this.
Don't remind me.
That's not actually yours, is it?
That's actually mine. Yeah, put that picture back. That's what it looks like.
What a clean cut.
Clean cut. Someone on Twitter said they must have had a plasma saw, which I thought was like a Halo weapon and not a real thing that exists in real life.
Yeah. Tough way to learn.
Yeah.
Next. What kind of car are you driving?
2007 Honda Accord. It's named Shitboy 2.
Okay.
And it might be the thing that makes me scrap it, because it's been going for a long time.
Just straight pipes, man.
So I was gonna, for a joke, but then I decided there was better things to do with my day. I was gonna find some cardboard pipes and duct tape them in there, and then get a shoebox and just write catalytic converter on it and go fixed. I fixed it. But you do need a catalytic converter to legally drive your car. You won't pass an inspection without them. Thanks, Obama, etc. But yeah, catalytic converter thefts have been spiking. And that's what I get for making fun of Sarai Rivera for trying to do something about it.
Yep.
I get mine stolen. Hold on, someone sent me a funny meme. I'm gonna send it about catalytic converter theft. I gotta find it.
While we're on the topic of talking about how recycling is terrible, there's an argument to be made that the reason childhood asthma rates have risen so dramatically in cities is because of catalytic converters. They're so efficient at burning up the particles that they're trying to keep smog from happening. They actually make them inhalable by your lungs. So it used to be we just had to look at and smell all the crap that was in the air. Now your lungs can actually absorb it.
Yeah, now we just absorb it. That's fucked.
But I
like
barely went to school, so don't take my word for that.
Yeah, what do catalytic converters have in them that are valuable? It's like gold or something.
Palladium.
Palladium. They have the palladium in catalytic converters?
If you put your ear right next to them while they're really hot, like you can hear the shows playing.
Ask Amir if I can offer.
They're gonna take a moment of silence for Ty.
In regards to Tyre Nichols, we recognize the pain, we recognize the trauma, the racism and systemic racism and implicit bias that continue to cause such pain, and we stand in solidarity because our Black and brown brothers and sisters have the right to grow old. I offer this prayer. Father and God, creator of all, bless us as we strive to find our way in true racial reconciliation. Open our eyes to all that goes around us that contributes to racial injustice. Grant us the knowledge to understand all that we do, both personally and as a society, which prevent us from recognizing and defending the dignity of all of our brothers and sisters, and especially at this time, all our brothers and sisters of color, who are now again feeling so much pain. Grant us the grace to reflect on our own actions and inactions
that contribute to this pain, and grant us the strength, and grant us the strength, and grant us the strength and the courage to take action to alleviate this pain and to end racial injustice in all its form. In your name we pray. Amen.
Kate Toomey can't wait to get out of there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please tell me somebody clipped that. I need that to just be a GIF that plays. We'll turn it into like a 4-hour long advertisement of just Kate Toomey texting while that prayer was being said.
Can we do a roll call?
That is so crazy. Like, of course you know you're on the camera.
Please get Travis to make sure that is captured.
Here.
We got to get the whole
Yeah,
thing too, so it's like because it starts right when Sarai starts talking. Like that's a pretty powerful image to have during campaign season.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what somebody said. Yeah, that was about 46 minutes, I'll say. 46 to 48.
Council is going to hold 11 T, U, and V under privilege.
T, U, and V?
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat those again, please?
Sure.
If any of our viewers can clip it, you'd
11Q.
save me time, and I would love you. Thanks, Mo Bergman.
11Q, City Manager work with the Director of Human Resources, develop an annual performance evaluation, 2 for the clerk and the auditor. 11 ST in. So, I'm sorry. So, Council Toomey is holding S, T, U, and V, the last items regarding the equity audit and the body cameras.
Oh, fucking get lost, dude. She texts through that thing and then she holds. Oh my God, dude. Are you kidding me? She texts through Sarai's address. That's all things.
That's all of King's items.
Yep.
Wow. I was muted, so I was repeating myself.
Audit, public participation.
She's
Any
wretched,
person may
man.
Speak for no more than 2 minutes, and any item appearing on
Wow.
the agenda, and just your name and item number, and you're up.
That's probably because she wants to forestall any, hey, the
Thank you, Mr.
Public
Mayor.
Safety Committee should meet.
Okay.
You know, given the
Yeah,
fact
you
that we just had
I would
one
like
of
to
our
speak in regards
leads
that
of one of our
tomorrow
departments
begins Black
have a
History
suit filed
Month.
against him and got
I
demoted
would
down
like
to like the
say
service
that,
division from the
Council
investigative
Russell, you
division. Like,
offer a motion to suspend the rules. Okay.
she doesn't want that coming up tonight.
that after the Civil War, the 14th Amendment in 1886, the free slaves became full citizens, no longer 3/5 of a person, but full citizens of the United States of America, which meant they had all the rights of all the other folks in America, all the white males. And in 1870, the 15th Amendment was written into the Constitution.
Yeah. Oh, it's frozen. I
which
thought she
gave
was just
the black males the right to vote.
finding her place.
And that just threw the males, the white males in the South.
What is the relevancy of
No
this?
surprise. Blacks outnumbered whites. Soon, there were black representatives all over the South.
Mo Bergman, are you going to come in a Mo Bergman costume?
They put all kinds of obstacles
I'm only down to do it if that's how you come.
into the voting rights. And soon, blacks were no longer being voted into the House of Representatives.
Yeah,
Then,
I
the
can't
20th
figure that out
Amendment,
either,
this is
Yeti.
Black history. The 20th Amendment, excuse me,
I
was
imagine it
enacted
pertains to
in
Tyree Nichols, but
1920.
I'm not certain.
And behold, women, all women, got the right to vote. The Black History.
You know it, Epic Stratton.
I'm reading some of the faces. This is history we're not taught, and that's why I'm reading it.
Okay,
It
thank
is
you.
in the United States.
I knew it was coming. I
Constitution.
knew it was
Read
coming.
Okay. Can you
Okay.
wrap up?
Yep, there it is.
Okay.
Okay, so all women got the right to vote. And it took a long time before women were elected into public office.
I'm curious where
Local
she's going with this.
Thanks,
government,
Matt.
we have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Ah, okay.
5, 6. Women outnumber the men on this council. Okay?
Oh, does that mean that spends the time too,
A
technically?
couple of minority women, which is fantastic.
And you go, girl.
Okay, you got a few more seconds.
And then
Supposed to, at least.
the 24th Amendment, 1965, which says there will no longer be obstacles preventing certain people, minorities, and low-income people from
Okay.
voting. No poll taxes
Okay.
or any other kinds of taxes
Thank you. I appreciate it.
preventing people. And you don't have such a hard time. Come on.
No, come on.
Preventing people from voting. And that does wrap up
Okay,
the
thank you.
Friggin' love her.
amendments
Oh.
in the U.S.
Thank you. I
Constitution.
appreciate it.
Dude,
that are
just Mayor Petty every week
Thank you.
being put in the position, the horrible optics of telling a polite, nice
I get a credit for
old
Yeah.
woman to shut the fuck up.
He says I get a credit for tonight.
Yes, my name's Adam Filker, and I've been working for a better bus system for a long time now, and I'm very pleased to see the City Council taking some interest in this. Item 11F here asks the unbelievable question about whether or not parking control officers are allowed to ticket cars in bus stops. Now, I don't know what the problem is. It's illegal to park in a bus stop. But I do know that
I
people
would love
park
an
in bus
Idella
stops all the
filibuster.
time, and a lot of the time they aren't being given tickets. Now, there are ways that this can be remedied.
She just walks up,
Every
handcuffs
bus has a
herself to the
camera up
podium.
front of it, and it's possible to take a picture of a car that's in the bus stop and ticket them directly this way. You know,
Dude, we got people watching on
wrap it up,
YouTube
but
tonight.
just
This
to
is
say
awesome.
this is-
Bizarro Joe,
it's one of
I
these
think she was
issues
just
that
reading
falls
history.
between the cracks.
How about if you
The-
park in a
the
bus
city's
stop, the city can cut
responsible
out
for
your
some
catalytic
aspects
converter?
of what goes on at the bus stop. The WRC
Is that what happened, Bill?
There's difficulties with
No,
getting the right.
it was
You were
Sarai Rivera.
I know, I recognize
This
that
is
curve.
something
That's a
that can
bus
be
stop.
worked out. And
Bill, I got to say, that is a really clean undercarriage. It would be a shame for you to let that car go. I'm sure the interior probably smells like a subway that you hasn't been cleaned in a week, but that undercarriage, for a New England car, you want to hold on to that thing. Just get a new
It's a great car. It's a sturdy ass car.
So thank you very much for
But-
considering this. I'm sure we'll get it worked out. Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't know. It might
I
be
mean,
like too
he's
much money.
talking about police not being able to ticket cars in bus stops, but they're also not allowed to ticket or tow cars that are parked in front of people's driveways if it's after the hours of the traffic enforcement department, which is 9 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Seeing none, I think that concludes that. Oh, actually, I do have.
I
one
have
person.
someone who had someone parked in
Laura
front of their
Weinstein, I'm
driveway,
trying to-
a friend of mine
the resident
that
now.
called at like 7 o'clock at night. There was someone literally just parked in front of her driveway. She
What's your
couldn't
name
get her
and the
car
name
out.
of it?
She had to go to
I think I
get
did
out
the
to go to
wrong
work,
item
and she
number.
had
I
to
wanted
drive
to
over
raise my
her
hand for
grass
HG.
to be able to get
Sorry.
out of her driveway because the police would not send someone out.
11G. 11G?
Oh, 11G, sorry.
Hang on. 1 second.
The-
Yeah, you can talk.
Told that at a
What's your name?
meeting last night, Chief Sergeant said there's no
Um,
Scorpion
well,
units in Worcester,
my name is Lori
which
Weinstein,
is
and I live in
technically
Millbury,
true because they don't have that
Worcester,
name,
for
but
an early
a
intervention
transparently bald-faced
And
lie.
so I wanted to
Just because it's a different name doesn't mean it's not similar to the unit.
parking when we go to visit Worcester families.
That's part of the
in
problem with this
town.
is that every department names them something
Sometimes
different,
we're getting
and they are the
tickets
source of like almost
when
every
we're trying to visit
civil
families,
litigation
and we were
and bad thing
wondering
that
if
happen in
we
police
might be able to
departments.
get some sort
And
of parking pass or permit, just a temporary
there's no way
thing
to
where we
think
can
about
go
them
for
as a
1
thing,
hour visit to
as
a
a
person's home.
one thing.
Sometimes we park in visitor spots, but
I'm sure you.
Plainclothes units.
actually
I'm
some
sure
of
you
us
have a
had
really good reason to have
situation where
changed your
we've been
location
towed
in your domicile
because
bill,
and
but
we didn't think
having
it
just
was
finished
something we
reading
said we
that
couldn't
piece,
park.
you being right
We feel it's
behind
very
a window
important to
with
be
the
able to
draperies
deliver
open is making me
services to
really
babies and
anxious.
their families.
If you could just close the drapes, brother. It's
Sometimes we have to park very far away when we can't
as
find
soon as you
parking
signed on, I
spots.
started getting a little itchy
So,
over here. It's
that's what our interest is.
Well, if there's any police officers listening, I am at my house. Everyone else, I'm not actually at my house that my address is listed at.
Thank you.
Not for that reason, but
Mr. Mayor, that concludes.
dang, dude, that's kind of scary. Don't talk like that. No one.
There's a reason Brendan's the wisest of all of us.
yeah, I live in a neighborhood full of complete lunatics. Like I'm perfectly aware of who has line of sight with every window in my house. Yeah, see, heavy drapes are a good investment, man.
This location. See, nobody's opposed. Motions to close the hearing.
Slender says only 3 houses for sale in Worcester.
It's like 33.
Opposed, so ordered.
I can check right now.
Petitions. Anybody here for a petition? If not, we're going to go through the petitions. 8A, we're going to refer to the planning board. 8B, refer to the Public Works Committee. 8C through 8J, refer to the Traffic and Parking Committee. All those in favor? Collectively, opposed, so ordered. Chairman's orders 10A to 10G. Motion was to adopt. All those in favor? Opposed, so ordered.
Withholding all those items, does that expedite tonight's meeting pretty substantially?
Very much so.
Orders now 11A.
Yeah, without those.
Oh, it's the Christmas trees.
Public Works and Parks consider expanding the date individuals are allowed to drop off the
All right.
Christmas trees.
I got to step away just for a minute, but I'll be back.
Thank you. There was a little bit of chatter on Nextdoor app about some people that were looking to drop off their trees, and it was past the date. And as they were talking, I realized my tree was still up too. So I think it's worth looking at it, maybe an expansion of maybe 1 more week. I'm not sure if that would work or that wouldn't work, but I think it would be advantageous.
Okay,
And also too,
For whoever
my
asked, there are
family,
currently
one of our
31
traditions
single-family
is that
homes
we keep
listed
our
in
tree up
Worcester.
after New Year's because
That's
we have
just
a New Year's
abysmally low.
celebration as part of being Albanian, the Albanian side of me.
I see Donna Clorio is wearing one of those chains that signify a scholar in Game of Thrones.
The trees have already been picked up, so if that's doable, I would appreciate it. Thank
I
you.
wish I could remember what that was called, but
something to say.
Yeah, I just want to quickly, we've heard a lot from constituents and some of the councilors related to not only
Years ago, governance by Nextdoor was not have been.
the neighborhood.
It's actually a really nice group of people that were on there, and it just got taken over. It is nasty on there now.
Department of Public Works,
Terrible.
we are opening the residential
Absolutely
drop-off
terrible.
center,
That's the only place I
first
go
Saturday
just to get a
of
sense of what
February,
all the
also the
awful
first
people in
Saturday
Worcester are
of
thinking.
March, to allow families and folks to be able to come and drop off the trees or any tree limbs or any kind of situations related to that. So we are doing it the first.
Wayne does
February,
love it.
First Saturday. In
like you
February,
said,
first Saturday.
the most awful people in Worcester.
All 3 locations.
Just the residential drop-off center, on Ballard Street.
Ballard Street.
Correct.
Okay, so that's sad. This Saturday coming.
I'm gonna petition that the city do a catalytic converter buyback program where they offer just a little bit more money than the people can get on the black market for them, and then you can go and get your catalytic converter back if they steal them.
Because there's January 6th and then there's the Octavitas. So literally that week of the 17th is when it's off, and you.
Did everyone
literally
catch the
still
patch
have
the
people
patch
kind of
piece that was a
visiting and
roundup of
coming
the
over and
last
catching up. So
meeting
definitely
about the
thank you, and I
shelter?
appreciate this sort of
I think it was last night.
Yeah, I had that open, but I haven't Haven't read it yet. No.
Somebody actually suggested that we take everybody at the shelter, put them on buses, and send them to Ron DeSantis's house. And I could not help but laugh at that. That is truly hilarious. Like, how someone like that doesn't just get picked up and thrown out of a public meeting is beyond me.
Yeah, but that's honestly becoming city policy in a lot of cities, is that they're opening up like we're not calling them camps, but camps for the unhoused, an increasingly popular bit of public policy.
When I was growing up, it was migrant centers.
Yeah.
I suspect my colleagues on the council do as well. Some of the holiday trash pickup rules and regulations.
I'm going to put a link to the story in our comments so Travis can share it when he comes
When
back.
you get messages, I
Cool.
get messages. I think the simple solution would be to take this nice calendar that the manager's office was kind enough to distribute and just include it in the November tax bill every year, so that the following calendar year, people will know. I know in January and February, the rules are different than other months, but not every rule in January or February.
We get tax bills in the mail?
And
Yeah.
I also think
I don't know that I've ever seen one.
I've tried to do this myself.
My favorite is when they say that you're overdue for it because your escrow hasn't paid it yet, and you have that little moment of panic.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I pay attention to is like, I'm pretty nerdy about watching my escrow, but I've never seen a paper
A
bill.
lot of people putting trash out when they're not supposed to on a holiday, and then conversely, not putting it out when they're supposed to. So I think
Actually,
this is a
no.
simple, cost-effective.
No, I can
reminder
only think of the sewer ones.
Prior orders. That doesn't cost us.
Maybe that's what he was referring to, was the water and sewer tax.
I had thought even a magnet would be great. If it's not that expensive, that it can be included as well. But not everybody gets a tax bill. There's a lot of residents that need this information too, that don't necessarily own the property. They perhaps are the renters. So I think it's helpful to have it on the website as well. Thank you.
What's that? Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
We think this is a great order, and we totally agree that we need to do a better job in communicating to the residents. One of the ways and strategy that we've been working on with the contractor of the yellow trash bags is to include it in the yellow trash bags as well, and do that every single year.
Okay, Councilor Russell.
Mr. Chairman,
How about we get trash bags that don't rip first?
To sign on to it if my colleague will allow me to. It just came to my mind that, how are we doing with that app that we were supposed to be working on? Mr. Chairman, to the
manager.
To the manager. We were supposed to be working on an app for DPW so that the folks that could ride down the street and see a mattress in the road or have a trash issue or anything else and just snap a picture, and they'd allow I don't know who came up with that concept and that idea, but I remember we were working on it, and just wondering if the previous administration passed that challenge down to the current administration and where we are with it.
Escargot, now you're talking George Russell's language.
Our app is active right now. We haven't launched it to the public because there are some bugs and tweaks in terms of the information of how to get the response back. And this is with the manufacturer. So we're working those bugs. Actually, there's a meeting this week to discuss those details with the manufacturer. The application right now is live. So if you go to the Apple Store or Android Store and download the Worcester 311, the app is available. But there's bugs and issues with it, so we haven't officially launched it to the public yet.
And it has the location part?
Absolutely.
So if there's an issue with anyone with trash out
Yes.
or junk in the road or whatever? good.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll look forward to the rollout and fixing those bugs. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll send that to the manager as
It would be
amended.
great if he just completely lied. There's no fucking app. He just told George what he wanted.
Person passed by the city council and update concerns.
George is a flip phone. He's satisfied with that answer.
With respect to windy days, Council Bergman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought I had included.
Yep, there is no.
photographs that they took of the street were on a not that windy of a day, but it was kind of a mildly windy day. Turn.
It was a Weatherman Mo.
All in the road. Thank you. All in the road with the covers off. Now, this could just be an anomaly. It could have been.
So
somebody
clearly, I've been
around
missing some riveting content.
who
It was fantastic.
took the bins and threw them in the middle of the road. It could have been a car that unfortunately hit a bunch of them, but.
No,
City
it's
Council's
the
doing it.
recycling folks that are dumping them in the middle of the street because they're not being careful.
I yelled at a lady one time. I screamed at her from my window. I went, "Hey!" She said, "Sorry." I said, "I don't care if you're taking the cans. Just clean up your mess." She put it all right back. Thank you.
How they're doing if complaints or if people feel that they're doing their job.
Have you thought about getting wicked high early in the morning so you're not just barking at neighbors?
It was right before I had my morning bowl, truthfully. She caught me at a bad moment. No, I hate the trash in the street.
We can see Nico's computer in the reflection of the mirror there. Let's see if Nico's watching. He's definitely watching. Come on.
Worcester
Click
City
that.
Council.
Basically tonight, or all
There it is.
with our
It's
residents.
a
There it is.
How we
pane.
can
There it
support
is.
Time of financial need. And
Come on,
and
camera
there
people,
are
help
so
us
many
out.
programs the
Just to
city
be sure.
offers and different things that we can do to help some of our residents with their tax bills.
This is just
So that
an app that's
last
a
week
bunch of
about
links to the
this
city
is one
website.
I'm bringing up. There's a program
What
that-
bugs could there possibly be?
Correct.
There's $10 million worth
Hey.
of ARPA
If I
funding.
could just ask a couple
How do I
questions.
get one of
I
those
hate this.
contracts?
Is that there is a program that
You just got to look at the
I
city's
didn't know.
website, man. They push it out to bid all the time.
tax deferred? Is that
I just
correct?
got notification that I didn't get the MCC grant.
There's a senior
I got to
program
find
that's
some of this
tax
free money that
deferred.
everybody keeps getting.
And it's not.
Oh, hey, guess what, Travis?
I can get clarification.
Did you? You were one of the
back to
4,000?
based on
You
the
son of a
program,
bitch.
but My understanding.
My
right now is
page rate
tax
just went up.
Okay, so I thought.
And you
I
owe
thought-
me now for a
I was
sticker.
under the impression if the seniors had.
2
a
catalytic
low income,
converters.
That they could put through a tax exemption, but not a tax
Congrats, man.
deferred. But I could.
Wow, St. Possum's. Look,
Okay,
that's an incredibly niche
I
reference.
want to make sure we're bringing back the.
Are you talking about that
stress
streamer that
enough
apologized for
how
looking at
people-
deepfake
I mean,
porn of streamers Maya and Pokimane?
Seniors, fixed income. What can we do? How can we make
His
things
name's like
better?
Arioctus.
Just can't afford our heat. They got the electricity bill. They got the tax.
He had a
bill.
tab open on his stream where he was
the
looking
food,
at
everything has
deepfake
gone up.
porn of
It's
2
just like,
streamers who are his friends.
Hell
And he
yeah.
was made to apologize for it.
And discuss them
Um,
and try to be helpful as much as we
And I saw a tweet about it. Yeah, I saw a tweet about it, and I was like, "This is a bit. This is a joke. I can't
Mr. Chairman, along
take
with,
this seriously, and then it's real."
I know.
We encourage you all to make
back
deep fake porn of
in,
us.
when I was on
Absolutely.
MLO,
Yeah.
We had talked about the senior.
Yeah, that's part of probably.
program.
I mean, that's a good way to get a story to blow up.
On that,
Or just hire me to come on your own OnlyFans channel. It's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not gonna do
fine.
it for free.
Easy with the phrasing.
that program, just talking.
Subscriber exclusive. Worcester sucks. Feet pics.
That's utilized quite a bit. I'd like to know, are we?
I'm checking out the
I'll
app
sell-
still.
Do we currently have
I'll sell the underwear I wear when I write the articles.
for their tax
Just turn up the heat.
to write off?
It
their
needs to
tax
cover the
bills?
heat bill.
I know we had done something back, few years back now.
It is a super weird thing
Had that.
Mm.
And I know.
to look at AI manufactured porn of your coworker.
Follow up and see where are we at.
Coworker's a weird word, though.
Any of our.
You guys aren't
seniors
living.
utilizing that program.
I was
Yeah,
in a
so
job.
This is like a worthless app. It's literally just the C-click fix
Just as
part
a
of the
senior
website
Hmm.
that's like slightly merged over into being a web app
We've
and a
had that for
bunch
like-
of links to the city website.
We've had that for like 15 years. That's been floating around forever. The C-click fix thing.
Yeah. Like that's literally all this is. Oh, and 1,383 things fixed of all time.
They miss a lot of commas.
Curious if there's a way through the chair to the administration.
What are you smoking on, Bill?
Perhaps poll and survey.
I sip on my coffee weird.
Easy ways to do that. Some of the folks, perhaps at the senior center or whatever, perhaps we work with a private sector entity.
I know George Soros pays us specifically to be making fun of Candy, but I would like to point out she's actually dressed very reasonably tonight. I feel like her hair and her sweater, it's a very non-threatening thing going on that, I don't know. If this is the look we're going to get for campaign season,
with the mayor's mental
she might
health
actually be hitting a note.
group.
Brendan,
It's a decoy. It's a deep fake. The real Kenny Merrill Carlson is lining up the sights for 300 yards, and she's about to snipe me through her window.
If there's any possibility of us beginning a
It was supposed to happen before stream, but she realized you're not home.
some segment of our senior population that we have access to.
You are going to need to call a window guy, though, when you get home.
Maybe two, just in case.
To the chair, to the council, we'd be open.
Hey, it's a good thing you got that MCC money.
To pull some of our.
Yeah, for Kevlar.
Very diverse population of seniors in that location.
Let me make sure I didn't read that email wrong now. I didn't...
Survey them, but I know that one of the challenges when it comes to an elderly.
That's something I would do. Oh, sick. I got the grant.
Other options, so we'll definitely look at
Nope.
Thank you. I'll make that as wave a motion.
I mean, they make it pretty
perhaps consider
clear.
working with
Like,
also
we know this is
CCS
sad to hear, basically.
connected with Mayor
Yes.
Task Force, Mental Health Task Force.
I got it just in time that I might need to buy a new car.
To the city. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So we'll send Council Corr's item to the manager as amended with separate items with Council Member Carlson and Council King. All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Next item is 11E, request of the manager provide council the report detailing how the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Bill, are you going to that True Anon thing in Cambridge?
Converting a non-rentable apartment.
Oh, yeah. When is that? It's like February something, right? I should.
Council Corio.
Thank you. And
I
in
love
the
that
spirit
podcast.
of
It's so
helping
good.
Our elderly and those that are less fortunate. A lot of people have homes or houses, 3 families, and they.
Oh,
have
interesting.
maybe a floor
There is
Yes,
an
Tara, I
agenda.
know she's speaking, but you don't need to
rent.
bork.
And they may not rent it because they don't want to rent it, but a lot of times.
There's an agenda now for the Public Safety Subcommittee.
And it's, they get a bill.
Oh,
that
wait,
says
no.
it's gonna be, $10,000.
This is the pending list.
Here, this, when they can't afford it.
How long's the
Fuck.
pending
I
list?
want you to look into.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Of helping and.
22
having a
things.
discussion
Yeah,
of
whatever's been hanging out there for 2
renovating
years
an
since they last met.
apartment, or maybe it's a house that someone owns, in order to create housing and affordable housing. So it's a win-win on both, people can receive a rent that's decent, but yet even help someone that may not have the opportunity. And I know we had a report back, it's probably more than a year ago, of how many units.
It looks like bracelets she
that
couldn't
of
fit on her
3 families
wrist.
Or 2 families or multifamilies that are not rented.
Honestly, that looks like something that you'd get at like Chico's or Banana Republic or
when we have this
one of those
report
places.
side by
It's a
side with
fairly
the
standard.
meeting, or if we have to get another report on that.
Looks like Game of Thrones thing though, Phil. You were totally right on that zoom in.
My mind, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Correct.
She looks like
When we
the
talk about affordable housing, if we had
what's it? Grandmaster or whatever.
apartments available in the city, that would be
Maester.
a huge
Maester. Yeah, she looks like a maester.
I mean, people would be wanting to, be willing to, open up their homes.
When
or-
aligned,
But I
when
think
aligned
this is another
properly, those
option,
rings form a
and I
sun
think
and
this
red.
is something that,
Oh.
Just a look she's going for.
Thank you.
Nothing overt.
Thank you, Council King. Followed by
Thank you.
Council Toomey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to take this opportunity to note for our seniors who are looking forward to this report that our Community Preservation Act will directly fund the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which will also allow for the support and resources that we're looking to get going here on behalf of our residents, Mr. Chairman. Again, happy to be part of this council that, knows the importance of.
I missed this
shelter
great comment by
housing,
Epic Stratton.
As it relates
That
to
necklace is the clamps that formerly held your catalytic converter.
She collects them as
Donna
trophies.
Salzal Calorio over here.
It's a lightsaber. It was clean like a lightsaber.
Donna Calorio, sometimes described as the political plasma saw.
Just Kate Toomey.
Sweat equity program for people who wanted to be able to purchase.
Just so you can see this on the
That is-
playback. Hi, Kathleen.
Down payment that they could.
What a sweater.
Those are sheep for anyone on low res tonight. Who's got the best Shaun the Sheep impersonation tonight?
It
Where's
was
Connolly when
funny.
you need him?
Yeah, right.
It's a unique, creative way of allowing people to own property. So
I'm gonna text.
Thank you.
Oh
All
shit!
good points on the website.
I love this Facebook comment.
Programs now.
Yeah, it's
Brenda.
looking good. Hey, City of Worcester. How about fixing some streets in town? Specifically by Lakeview Elementary. Not sure how many claims I have to file.
Oh no, I don't want to. I want to react to this comment.
So we'll send that to.
Before a care bottoms out. Hold on, go back to that.
Sorry.
Go back to it. Can I read it? Go back to it.
No, I don't want to add her as a friend.
Okay, 11F.
Not sure how many claims I have to file before a care bottoms out. The huge holes.
Allow the ticket cars parked in Worcester Regional Transit
Not
Authority.
sure how many claims I have to file before a care bottoms out from the huge holes.
The street by the school needs to be closed down until repaired and is dangerous.
PCOs.
What a good comment.
In such location, request manager will
It is a mess of a road.
given between.
Dude, every road is a
Granted,
mess.
that's just Worcester.
There's a
Hey,
pothole
Millie-
on Mill Street over by Logan. Like you hit it straight on. There's absolutely no way anything smaller than a 30-inch tire isn't going to explode. It's absolutely absurd.
Also, can we just all agree that Polar Park and the Woo Sox, their mascot should be named Millie McGillicuddy, and it's just a McGillicuddy nip.
I'm writing it down for a Photoshop later.
It's Millie McGillicuddy, the only nip acceptable for children.
I heard they're getting rid of all nips.
They've been trying to because of the
Over
litter.
my dead fucking body, are they getting?
More likely that Worcester's going to sign on to that class action lawsuit against Fireball for not being real whiskey.
I've been hammed.
What is it, Tara?
Competing with the operation of the WRTA buses. So
She wants me to take her outside. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that was my pause.
Ask with the chair, the city manager, if he gets some information back on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Councilor Thompson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think it would also be helpful for us as a council to get a report
George Seption will
back
try when she
on
gets back.
How many parking control officers?
I do totally appreciate how nip culture has evolved over time, though. Like when I was younger, like you would just go in and order 12 nips because nobody wanted to get like overheard ordering a rack of nips, right? Like, but now you go to any package store, you can buy a bucket of Fireball. It's like there's just no shame. Like this is a long day at work. I need
They
my
have
bucket.
it by the door.
I went skiing with my dad last week, and he had a candy cane of Fireball nips, like this big, like just a big candy cane full of nips. He got it for Christmas.
Here, the narrative.
I have noticed that around the holidays there were less of like those packaged things with the glasses and far more party packs of nips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting those bus signs there and to explain to them that that is not us. And so
Somebody coming through with the facts here that Lakeview is a private street,
point is
and there's nothing you can do to make it better, ever,
had to ticket somebody.
because Worcester still allows there to be private streets.
So, but I think more importantly for this is for us as a council
Yeah,
to.
they're great stocking
figure
stuffers to
out
me.
How many employees we actually have.
The worst nip is 99 bananas.
Parking.
Fireball is on the short list for best nip.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There's also.
'Cause it's a novelty.
A number of.
This is just nice.
Signs that are not placed correctly. As a matter of fact, there are 2 bus stop signs at 2 different locations for 1 bus.
I heard him specifically say the Red Sox are not Worcester's wallet.
The signs are so far apart, they couldn't.
He said that?
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah,
Charles.
we're the Red Sox fucking wallet.
Where the
Jesus
bus stop
Christ.
really are, and make sure that there isn't additional signage, as well as making sure that there is signage for the appropriate place.
I'm texting.
This whole city is the fucking Twilight Zone.
Manager as amended. In favor, opposed, so ordered. 11G, request the manager consider amending Chapter 13, Section 40 of the City of Worcester revised ordinances regarding the residential parking program to read as follows. The parking administrator may issue citywide temporary parking permits in a number specialized by parking administrator after payment of a fee for each permit to be given to any social service agency for use by employees of such agency providing medical and/or other services to elderly or disabled residents in the homes of such residents. Such permits will expire on June 30th of each year and may be renewed by the nonprofit social service agency for the additional periods after payment of the appropriate fee. Applications should be provided to the park administrator on the applicant's professional letterhead. Such permit shall only be used when the employee of said nonprofit social service agency is actually providing services to the elderly or disabled resident, and shall be displayed on the front dashboard above the steering wheel and shall be fully readable
that story was
from the,
weird.
exterior of the vehicle.
It was
Council
weird
President.
that it was in a
Apologies, Mr. Chairman,
like
for
Worcester
making
Business
such a
Journal
lengthy,
story.
order, but I
It was
did
weird
want
that
to
she
cite
was
the
barely
statute, and
included.
I also apologize to my colleagues and the viewers. There are typos here. The intent of this order is that the existing residential parking rules and regulations allow for nonprofit agencies to get a limited number of
He takes our teachers as his child, bro.
services for $50 fee. It should be all services, all agencies, whether they're nonprofit or
It is awesome that they threw some arm candy into the deal for him.
agencies like the Visiting Nurses Association, which are for
Hey, if you come to Worcester, we'll give you one of our teachers. How about that?
when trying to attend somebody that they're providing services for. So what happens is, where do they park? A lot of individuals need multiple shifts.
Turns out he had the thing that money couldn't buy was love.
Oftentimes, the agencies are for profit. So I think we need to revisit this, and I have spoken to Mr. Raleigh and Ms. Guardiola, and I know that Councilor Colorio and I think perhaps Councilor Rivera had talked about this recently, and I think this item could go wherever that item went, and I think we just need to try to adjust this in a way that any agency providing services won't be prohibited from being able to park close to the person or persons they're trying to provide help for without worrying about getting ticketed or towed. Thank you.
Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an amazing.
It's super sick that they had like a full gallery to talk about affordable housing, and they cut the conversation short so Mo Bergman could talk about fucking trash cans
responding
and
to emergencies.
parking
This
tickets.
is home. The only thing that I would mention.
So this parking thing, my mother-in-law is actually really excited if this goes through because she has a hell of a time stopping at some of her patients' houses.
Elderly services.
It's actually a real big problem for care workers. She's a hospice nurse who does visiting hospice stuff through the VNA, and like almost every week because we go over there on Sundays for dinner. We'll hear some commenter or another about the parking on this street or that street was a pain in the butt.
There's access to our most vulnerable kids.
That she can't find parking, or that
Yep.
During this,
She can't find parking because she doesn't have a permit for that street. So if there was basically he's asking for a blanket permit that is usable by visiting nurses and folks to take care of patients when they're doing their like 1 hour a day, 2 hour a day visit to King.
That we also
does it only work within like business hours type of deal? You can't use it overnight, I imagine.
Elder services, elder protective
I
services.
think that would end up depending on which segment of care workers they're going to allow to use it, because there are some PCA workers that are 24 hours a day.
Sure.
Or that there's someone there around the clock. So
sure.
We should have one for the councilors.
my grandfather had visiting folks that were 24/7, different people, different times of day, but
Yeah, just in the spirit of
Yeah.
former city councilor Connie Luke, she'd say when you're here long enough, you got
So like I agree that we should be
So this
taking
is
care of
actually
people and
something that
letting them
I
have
brought
access
up,
to the people that are going to help
several
them.
years
But
ago,
like
and then,
I can actually see as a
myself and
resident
Council Colorio signed on,
or
we
a
brought this up
potential
again,
situation
this is
where
an issue that
spots
has
get
come
filled
up.
up by
This is definitely an
non-res.
issue, and I
That's
think
a tough
as
one.
we are moving into,
the thing is usually people who are being taken care of like that are not ones that have their own vehicles or own cars that are parked there. So it's basically giving the ability for them to use what would be their spot.
amount of
Yeah, and that
home
makes
care-based medical care. I mean, people could get
I don't know
major
Epic Stratton.
procedure and be out.
I mean, it's a fair point. I
very
guess I'm playing
minimal
devil's
couple
advocate
days.
and thinking
They
about
still
how
need that
people can
care,
abuse the
or just
system.
even ongoing care that people need.
Well,
So
it needs to be like
growth, but yet it is an issue with,
given to the companies. And like, if somebody's using a tag in an area, that company should be held liable for it, not just the employee.
Oh, I think that's probably true too.
once a week. So we really need to kind of think about
That's a good point,
how
Yenni.
we're going to do that.
And companies are not going to be happy with their employees
For city council is not be-
getting them fined.
I
So
know that the mayor said it. I'm just agreeing with our wonderful mayor, the second largest city.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I feel like we just missed something.
I think we did too.
The city manager, those in favor, opposed, so
Looks like
voted.
Nico's reading
Manager mentioned
X-rays
that
over
they
there.
were looking at the whole
Is that an X-ray? Looks like a femur.
becoming in the
No,
future.
go the other way.
Okay.
Up and to the left slightly. Up.
I
Yep.
understand now.
Work amending chapter 13, section 37P of the city of Worcester.
Oh no, it's just a live view.
The parking to read as follows.
Why are
No
you
person
staring
shall
at me,
park a
Tara?
Commercial vehicle, bus, or trailer having a
Oh,
gross weight of 11,000
people in chat
pounds
wanted to see
or
Tara.
more on any street where parking
Ah,
is permitted for no
let
longer
me
than
put her in a
1
spot
hour
that
between
is
the hours of 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.
able
Any
to
or
be
any time on Sunday,
shown
except
to
for
people.
vehicles may be parked for periods in excess of
Come on,
this
Tara.
restriction while actually being loaded or unloaded. Council Bergman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This really mirrors the,
Yes,
sorry, this really mirrors the existing language in the ordinance, except for the existing language in the ordinance only allows enforcement on residential streets. And the problem and I've seen it when I was in parking and traffic, is that there are websites and other social media
Good
outlets
girl.
that let tractor trailer operators know where in different cities they could kind of hang out on public streets overnight.
I'm sorry, Yenni.
They're not there to deliver materials, they're just there
There
to
you go.
sleep. It becomes a nuisance for neighbors. Some neighbors may be commercial, some may be residential. But it seems to me ineffective to have the ordinance.
Did you get her to
just be
try to
able
eat Mo Bergman?
Enforce that on residential streets. It should be on any street in the city of Worcester. There shouldn't be overnight parking by a tractor
Good
trailer.
girl. Other paw.
Absent
Good
perhaps
girl.
exceptional circumstances for overnight delivery. I think it needs to be looked at and bring it to the council's attention. I'm hoping the city manager will bring it to the appropriate department, perhaps the legal department, and elsewhere. Ultimately, may wind up back in traffic and parking.
No, that's it for now, Tara. All done.
I don't know the reason why this shouldn't be enforced everywhere throughout the city, and I just bring that to everybody's attention in hopes that this could be amended. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll send that to the manager. Councilor Russell.
Chairman, I rise to sign on to this item also. I also would like some information, just in the form of a report, when it comes back, just to see if this is in fact accurate, because I think it's being enforced. Council Bergman and I have had this conversation outside this chamber, but in District 3, we had a situation where trucks were staying overnight right in front of Walmart on the public street, in front of Walmart, and they were moved along by the police department. So unless that is changed or some new nuance of the enforcement is gone on that we don't know about, but I'd like that information in the form of a report. What are we doing to enforce these type of situations? We don't want to have truck stops just wherever people feel like parking a vehicle, whether it's a commercial zone or a residential.
I agree with this too, but we need some kind of area. Do we have a spot for trucks to do overnight
Mr.
parking?
Chairman, this is an order that I had signed on.
Because this is one of those
I'm aware of.
This is one of those pain in the ass things that trucks carry all the goods that we buy. So these truckers have shitty schedules that they're forced to go bed down for 10 hours.
They could get stuck anywhere with the new automated things that drop them down to 30 miles an hour when they're like over a certain amount of time. They get stuck pretty much anywhere they are.
My grandparents were truckers, so I would spend my summers riding around with them out on the west side of the United States. But they would tell stories about how they'd get fined for going over hours and shit. And this is now 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, you could be a mile from your destination and be cut off on distance.
Sure. Council King would like to sign on. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 11J, request the committee on the urban technology innovation environment invite the coordinator of the Lake and Ponds program.
Well said, Matt.
The most recent state of the lakes information. Council IGR.
As he reads.
Okay, we'll send that to administration. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Because I think there's a future one coming up on the lakes and ponds. That's what I was just asking. So,
Mr. Mayor, I think you probably want to send it to committee, and then along with that report coming.
Ah, damn it.
okay. Committee.
Oh.
We're out of practice.
It's Lakes and Ponds is in Park.
Oh, okay. We'll figure it out. Let's get the report back and see.
It'd be
what it is.
great to go to the urban tie committee if possible.
Yeah. Okay. When we get the report back,
Oh.
we'll figure out where it goes. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got the thwappy tail going on.
11K, refer the manager, request Assistant Commissioner of Public Works and Parks, explore upgrades to Burncoat roads.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will, trying to get through every single part.
Did we just change this entire show's premise?
Burncoat wasn't on the
It's
list.
the good dogs.
It would be nice, great.
She's
I'm
being
gonna be
good
a
tonight, so
star.
you know.
Commissioner Antonelli was awesome in getting some of the soccer
What?
goals in.
I move the camera away from her and she does this. And is just staring at me.
Park that is centered in the neighborhood.
Honestly, a dog mayor would be.
Be improved,
What?
you know, sometime down the road in the future. I know that we have some other competing priorities, but similar to Burncoat High School.
Okay.
Yeah, dog mayor would be superior to a cat mayor.
Okay,
Most
sign
mayor animals end up being
Okay. As
cat
amended, those in favor
mayors,
of
and
those
I think that's
voted.
a bad look for any municipality.
Public Works and Parks, provide council an update concerning the Roberto Clemente master plan. Council Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's been a master plan for this park for even before I came on council. Just looking for an update because I know year after year, Commissioner Antonelli works really diligently to find different resources through grants and other mechanisms for this particular park. Just looking for an update on where he's at.
They do know things.
No, he's working.
I will
hard on
only
this. It would
support
just be nice to share
Mayor
with the
Goodboy.
community some of his progress.
Tara does the Worcester sorting hat, where it's just like if she barks, you don't get to be on the city council. If she doesn't, she likes you, then you get to be on the city council.
Council King. Sign on. Council King wants to sign on. Sends the manager as amended. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. M, request the manager work with the chief financial officer to provide city council with a report concerning the city's American Rescue Plan Act funds, the timeline to expand the opera funds, and where the city is in the process of grant requests and ad hoc committees. Council Rose.
Thank you, Mr.
Is Nico making origami back there now? He's fiddling with something, or is that a
I'm
fidget
just trying
spinner?
to, yeah, I'm just trying to catch him with something.
A couple of the legislative briefings that were offered as part of those boards, there was concern amongst colleagues and peers that there is, with the change in the White House, that there's some concern over what they're calling the clawback of ARPA funding. And I know that Congressman McGovern has also indicated something to this degree. And I know that others are, worried that, where we're at with it, if it's going to be expended, if it's going to be expended sometime soon, if we're going to be at risk for it being clawed back at some point. And so I think to alleviate the anxiety of many folks, it would be nice to share with them, where we're at, the process, and alleviate any of that potential.
Gus, come here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'd love to see us do with whatever's going to get clawed back, do a medical debt buyback.
I had a similar order to this previously, and it's actually
Oh, look who
Or
it
just
is.
a dividend to the city.
discussion for further review.
Gus, look at the camera.
So I would
Oh.
ask, if that could also be that report to make sure it gets into.
No, she's pressing on the keys.
This
Gus,
might
get
be some
over
of
here.
the best content we've ever done.
I think Council Rose.
Oh, no.
In terms of the concerns and where we're going.
Little cat butthole for the feed.
Yeah, saw that where that was
with
going.
The administration regarding the ad hoc committee some weeks ago. And,
That's very cat.
time for an update, but there is
Aw,
certainly an item in
he's so
committee,
sweet.
that's
That's
not
adorable.
this item, but pertaining to our.
Come on.
board and
What's up, Gus? What do you want?
Welcome this report to be included with it at the same time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor, as amended, all those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay, we are on N. Request the manager explore.
Oh, the warm spot from the laptop's really doing it for her.
Coloring of the landscape materials such as concrete. To
Are you Gus's stepdad? Mo Bergman just
Oh,
asks.
yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was meeting with a group of environmental advocates the other morning, and they were had a lot of conversation around
Yes, George
development in the
Stepchen.
city and the
But when
darker
Brian gets
pavement
back,
and
you guys don't
asphalt.
want
They
him to show
actually
you his pet.
referenced a parking lot in Councillor Hajiai's district where they did some analysis of it, and because it was so dark, it was like remitting heat. And then we got into this conversation about heat islands and the urban heat island effect, and how when you're walking on these pavements in a 90-degree day, you can feel it on your soles, but not only on your soles, it actually like remits out.
You guys are gonna have to get him to tell you.
And how it's
I can't steal his thunder like that.
Said that
Is it a tegu? Please tell me it's a tegu.
consider developing or building a sidewalk, streets,
I love
whatever.
tegu. I would own a tegu if I could.
And so
My husband
I
won't
started
let
doing
me.
my own diligence.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a
It's
dog-sized lizard.
a lizard that can grow up to the size of and or bigger than a golden retriever.
Pavement has a very
They can be like 5-6 feet long.
So a dinosaur.
Yeah.
So I thought it was worthwhile to propose.
But you can train them to walk on a leash like a dog.
Urban tie. I think it's something
Like they can be potty trained and everything. It's fantastic.
doing that already, because it seems like a very simplified solution to decrease heat waves and the impact of emissions here.
Tiny SARS Rex. Nice.
Later, George Stepchen.
Good job. We'll send
No, that was Gus. Gus gone. Gus, what do you
bye,
want?
Gus. I misread that as
Really
bye,
quickly, I
guys.
think this is again,
Yeah.
I'd like to sign on. When we're talking about heat islands and folks needing to be cooled, and also folks who are right now out there in the cold. I know my colleague has asked for
Anytime, George
This
Stepchen.
is not a great way to show you it, but
responsive to that.
that's a white lab.
Making sure folks are able
And
to
that is the tegu.
warm.
Hold on.
That folks are cool. But
It's
Pull back a
really
little
out
bit.
of focus.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
That's gross.
I don't know what the status is
Yeah.
of our
You're so
attempts to make sure people are warm and make sure that they're cool with regards to orders that this
Does
council
Gus
has
catch
supported,
mice?
moving forward. So I'll sit.
Gus, Gus, no.
Be much
Gus caught a
appreciated.
bird once. And then
I feel
tried
like
to bring it in the house.
We get the
I feel like
report.
Alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so send that to the.
What's the word for three-eyed jacks? Do we know?
Get the report.
I don't know.
I haven't heard anything.
And I was in favor, opposed, so ordered.
I was watching that meeting. That meeting was interesting.
Yeah.
Requested the man to provide counsel to report
Defend
outlining
Cafe Neo at all costs.
different-
And his petty fight against the landlord.
Thank you.
Who sucks.
As it reads, but the only thing I neglected to leave out was the date. So in the year 2022, for the revenues during the last year, and also to the projected revenues. What did we project going into this year? And that could be included in the report.
Future years, okay.
Yes.
23 is on, okay, as amended.
Okay, thank you.
Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request the man provide the council with a report concerning plans for renovating Indian Lake Beach, also known as Classroom Road Beach. Council Member Carlson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is a beach over there, over at Indian Lake that Council Rose and myself.
Is that the dog?
While it's in.
It
Oh.
sounded like a guy moaning.
Sorry.
On the mic.
It sounded like something inappropriate.
And this is a.
It's it.
It's just her. It's her looking at me longingly, attempting to eat my burrito.
Sound like somebody Googled up some deep fakes, if you know what
What?
I mean.
Have this put on.
Y'all work quick.
A master plan, and let's get something done over there for the folks over in that.
She is
area.
pointedly not looking at me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council King, like
You're
to
not
sign
having
off.
my burrito.
Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 11Q was held in the privilege.
Dogs.
Request the mayor, city clerk provide the council with an update concerning the position of the chief of council, coupled with the designated city council clerk. Further request city clerk include a job description of aforementioned position as part of the said report. Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This council of my colleagues worked really hard to
I can't wait to pull that clip of K2Me texting during Surratt's break.
improve
Terrible.
constituent services, establish the position of city council.
To find out exactly what she said is just
the
offensive.
designated city council clerk.
Tuesday is a burrito kind of night.
Part of this is making.
We
I'm
usually do
wicked hungry.
tacos, but I can't do cheese anymore, so we weren't able to do the quesadillas. I can't do dairy. So we decided to start doing burritos for me because I couldn't just do meat and
the ability of
tortilla.
our counselors to do the work of
That's
the people.
so sick. I want a burrito so bad.
You know, and kind of
I went with
us
a
once again, the
Marie
job
Callender
description,
pot
like to
pie.
have this,
Wow.
Shit was
city
actually
council.
delicious.
They
That's
are pretty
like
good.
Also, like
it's like equal parts bleak and endearing that you're eating that right now.
language as it relates.
I wanted something that wasn't going to make me feel like absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Just like a little like dog shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's vegetables, so that counts for something.
Under the council.
Yeah, the 7 frozen peas in there are really gonna do a number on you.
It's better than the 2 large French fries that I normally order.
Similar to the city manager, similar to the city clerk.
Baby steps.
There's vegetables, he says. It's like a Trailer Park Boys line.
For that
No,
possibility.
no ranch dressing in sight.
No. Have you ever gotten so high at Walmart that you've picked one of those up from the freezer, then walked it over to the subway and asked if you can borrow their microwave for a minute, and then just sat there in their sad seating area eating your pot pie?
Council, our new chief of council now, our past chief of council, worked extremely hard with us. In
No, but now I have goal.
And we had one chief of council.
You know what I like about Market 32 is they put out all those free chicken fingers on that little hot stand right in the middle of the store. You walk by and you just grab a couple with your bare hands.
Our clerk, our deputy clerk.
They got the sneeze guard, but not a finger guard.
That's my favorite reason to be in Whole Foods is just to be around like the prepared food section long enough for some homeless cat to come through and just say fuck it and start going hands first, just pulling food out.
As a kid, I definitely would walk by the salad bar and grab like random bits. Like the one in the grocery
I'd like
store.
to sign on to this order. I think that it's laid out extremely well. I think that, you know, now that we've had this position for
Imagine doing something as just like transparently and optically monstrous as Kate Toomey did at the beginning of this meeting, and she's wearing that little chic sweater.
Where do we go from
I get
here?
cute just for this moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick off Black History Month by being incredibly disrespectful to the Black counselors on the body that I sit on. But I'm also gonna wear this like cute little sheep sweatshirt.
Look at
Not a black sheep on it.
To go to committee.
All white sheep.
Quite frankly, and go to committee and have a discussion on these particular positions.
That's gnarly, Santa
Thank you,
Possums.
Mr. Chairman.
Candy did get a haircut, huh?
Okay, so let's take that and maybe just look back. I know in 1990.
Like I'm not saying I've come around on personality, but the
And he
fit,
wasn't really sure who they reported
it's
to.
Nice
kind
fit.
of
It
working.
was the council.
This is what happens when you have a challenger rumored.
Maybe we can take a look
Yeah.
at that as part of this.
You gotta soften up the image a little bit.
At least we have
Yeah.
a roadmap maybe on how to do it. So you take a look.
Thank you, Mr.
I want
Mayor.
Kenny Merrill Carlson to be caught on camera saying something like that Chicago mayor said about how she has like a bigger dick than everyone in the room. You guys remember that?
So I'll bring all that
I
stuff,
don't remember that.
to the
That
council
sounds
and
incredible.
Hopefully by next week.
It's really good.
Council Russell.
She's like, I got all these swinging dicks in here. Well, I have the biggest dick.
Councilor King doesn't mind me signing on to it.
Lori
and
Lightfoot.
amending it to ask the clerk
I actually
also
think
to
Mo
withdraw
Bergman is right. That clip should get sent to the U.S. attorney with just for context. Like this is how the head of your public safety department in Worcester or committee, this is how seriously they take their job.
coming up very
Yeah,
soon.
right.
There might be some requests that his office will make of the administration looking forward to this, because it is very difficult to get 10 people all on the same page. But by the
She
same
won't stop
token,
grumbling.
to
This
be
is
like
getting
Mark
annoying. I keep going to like attempt to speak and she'd start grumbling.
for us. I
Like,
don't
pay
think so,
attention
but
to me.
I'd be open to some suggestions, and I would ask the clerk put some out there because, and then, there are some that I'm sure that our good city solicitor will start reading the charter to us.
She wants my burrito.
Some sections of the charter
And I keep telling her she
that
can't have my
enforce the
burrito.
letter of the wording. And then there are other sections of the charter that, as long as I've been here, we've also not followed them exactly to the letter of the line. If that was the case, I'd be calling Mr. Batista every day about a pothole instead of calling any of his staff members. So we know this is a working thing, and we all just want to.
No, her argument is supported by her hitting me with her tail.
And that is amended.
Just to be clear, is George making the argument that they don't actually pay any attention to the charter? They just kind of do what they want to do? That's the way I interpreted what he just
In
said.
terms of their council off staffing.
Yeah, well, that tracks.
Yeah, I mean, not a
That makes
surprise
sense.
to anybody. It wasn't a big reveal or anything, but he said it out loud. So I just.
So if it's the will of the council, I can certainly bring that along with my report.
Council King?
Yes, that was my next part of the motion, was that we do exactly that. So I would be actually a separate motion to do exactly what.
Yeah, we follow more rules out of Pokedite, out of the MCL.
To the clerk about this. It's exactly what you said. We need to make sure, particularly now with the challenges that we have in our economy, our challenges with housing, our challenges with public safety, and to make sure that we are as accountable as possible to our constituents.
Dude, Millie McGillicuddy, that is such a good name.
Sort of reorganization plan with the administration and the office of the clerk. So
Hold on, what did that say?
But I think that it's time to move forward and figure out how to best staff ourselves, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So it's amended to.
It would be wonderful for there to be more than one person taking care of an 11-member city council.
S, T, U, and V have been held under privilege.
Yeah, but then, like, the city council might be useful.
Community discussion, though, to increase
So,
in the amount of elderly.
we don't want
persons
that.
in homelessness. Council Rivera, Council.
On you, can I
They don't
just-
want that. We don't want that. No one wants that. City council might have to do something.
Can't speak on it, but you can
I'm
ask
not
for a
going to
report.
speak on the item, Mr. Chairman. I just want to, through you to the
Oh
administration,
my
I'm
God.
hoping that we get this report in the very near future. I know I've had conversations with the administration, but I'm hoping
You
that
can
this
ask for
report will
next-
come. I'm hoping that.
You can ask for a
detailed
report. You can't speak on, you can ask for a report.
I'm hoping
Okay.
that a detailed report will come.
Next
very,
week?
very
Okay,
soon.
okay.
Wait, why can't he speak on asking for a report?
Items, I just want to make that clear.
Ooh, hold on.
Council Toomey held those.
Okay. And so on 11V, I guess I would ask, is I know it's a discretion. of the
It was
chair,
beautiful. He just wanted to make sure it was on the record that Kate held those two
held,
items.
You can
that-
amend. you
that-
can
Oh,
just-
really?
Speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just amend it, that the executive session occur next Tuesday through the chair to the clerk. I'm not sure if he could tell us what date that is. We could just amend
Through the
it
chair.
so that we're not continuing to delay and kick the can down the road.
Okay, so the motion is.
I missed that. How did that?
Motion is that. Amended for next Tuesday.
That we go into the executive
Okay,
session.
okay. If that's possible, then all those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Oh, goddamn,
Request,
Millie
W
McGillicuddy.
request the manager organize. a
So there were
committee
some
to
confusing
control
items on the
the
agenda
amount of
where
elderly
there's
persons
executive
in
sessions that were
homelessness.
speaking to contract
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll be brief,
negotiations.
But,
Yeah.
In my years of working in human services, and I've never seen anything like it. And so between elders and also.
But it wasn't clear what those items actually were because
Yeah.
the council isn't
it's
involved
just
with
coming up
contract
more and more.
negotiations.
I've never seen as many elders
Right.
that are homeless, that are housing insecure.
But for some reason,
Um,
Christian
it's
wanted
very
the mayor to identify Kate as the person who held those items and then made the note of pushing off executive session.
coming up, and I've invited Dr. Castiel
And
to-
asking that it happen next week anyway. And that was just adopted.
some of the folks in regards to our sheltering system, but unfortunately also our sheltering system is not equipped for this population. I've had several people, but I'm not going to send them to the triage, right? Set on Queen Street.
I know one of the
You know, I go
issues
back to
was
how we're
said
doing our
something
healthcare
about
system in general. So
renegotiating the
I think
city
this is something we
managers,
really
but it
need
was
to
actually about
start
the
to really focus
city
on.
is
It's a thing
It was the auditor, yeah.
auditor.
We really look, it's an ever
It was just a typo on their end. They copy and pasted and didn't
and I think
refill
we need
it.
to kind of come together and do some strategizing, similar to how we did with the chronic homelessness. Thank you.
Councilor Rose, followed by Mayor Petty. He had his hand up.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, my colleagues are aware, I oversee a nonprofit serving individuals who suffer from developmental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, autism. And we had a senior leadership meeting on yesterday. And in the senior leadership meeting, we do service navigation here in Worcester County. So we serve, up to 1,700 individuals of that profile, families.
Well, St.
caregivers,
Ponson's, if you are interested in those
the last
out of
week,
open
week and a
meeting
half,
drama,
we've been
I'm told that they've gone back to hanging out at Piccolo's after
support,
council meetings. So
the individuals that
whenever
we
this
serve,
wraps up,
with
hop in
housing.
any car that isn't Bill's,
Something
and
going on. There's like
you can see
evictions
firsthand
that
what kind of drama
and it
unfolds.
just was and for me, I can't speak for Councilor Rivera, but it seems like it's in the last month. It's been an incredible spike out of nowhere. And as we, think about the hunger cliff that's coming online in next March with the decrease in SNAP benefits, this is a timely for us to have this discussion.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
To support our.
I've never been there. I want to go there just to get the vibe of it.
The
But
thing, we just had our ED
is it like a
meeting,
Dino situation where it's just like,
housing
like
those
chicken
are
parm
long-term,
and everything else is going to be
fixes and
terrible?
resources to add to
I'm
some
not
of
a
the
huge fan of the food, to be honest. I mean, the bar is actually
Yeah.
halfway decent, but I'm not necessarily. I've never been a fan of the clientele at the bar.
however
Yeah.
many degrees. And even if we can
There
try
really
to create
is only one good Italian restaurant in Worcester, and I will
Maramonte.
say that. Mary Monte.
That's it.
Might even be the only good restaurant in Worcester.
suffering from.
I like Dino's.
I appreciate this order.
I mean,
I'd like to
Dino's
sign
is
on to it and,
what it is. It's nice. I like Dino's. But when
Dino's
you're
for
talking like
me
real
is
food,
very
you know?
like
Thank you.
Italian, home cooked, same stuff that I would have gotten at my family's houses.
Yeah.
It is good core Italian cooking,
Yeah.
Is really one of the toughest issues.
or at least New York style Italian.
There's no question about it. We have to be prepared. And the last night we were at the Blessed Sacrament meeting.
Their meatballs are the only meatballs I've ever enjoyed at a Italian restaurant.
15 below.
They're made properly and nice and soft instead of like becoming rubber.
Working on some plans for warming centers in the city of Worcester. And when you're ready to announce that, please do. And
Ciao Bella is actually halfway decent too, Bill. The prices have gone through the roof over the last year, but
we need a tactical plan.
Oh, I like that place. Yeah.
For homelessness.
Hold on.
We
this
need
is
a plan where we go into a neighborhood like Blessed Sacrament, or maybe go up to Lincoln Street, or we go up to other parts of the city. How you work all your agencies, including the Worcester Police Department, Public Health Department. And we have a plan to make sure people are served. The neighborhood feels confident that we have their interests at heart. And we're all the constituents. I feel confident Worcester's doing the right thing. And I was thinking about it last night, and I thought it took us a few weeks. This is a learning experience, but we got a good plan up and running up in the Blessed Sacrament. And it took us a while, but hey, we got it done, and we're going to stay on top of it. But this is something you have to think about, because this is not ending soon. As we expand, as more services are needed, as we build more apartments for housing, which you talked about last night, Mr. Manager, and which takes time, and we're not there yet. So I think it's important that we do.
It's 24 fucking units. Stop saying that's going to help.
The Worcester, the state agencies, that making sure all the interests are met, whether it be the neighborhood's interests, especially people with homelessness, especially people with mental health issues, especially people who have addictions. Every person's interests are met, and we do a pretty good job.
The
now.
only reason why he's talking about
Pretty good job
some
now,
fucking
trying to
cranks
meet,
got
but
mad that the homeless shelters in their
more
fucking neighborhood.
services, more attention.
He wouldn't talk about it otherwise.
Definitely needs to be done. We see it
Shit's
every
so
day.
fucking gross. I
We
can't
see
take
in
it.
Boston. We see it in every city, probably across America. And I think we have
He'd only be talking about it. He's only talking about it because he got raped over the coals on Monday night.
Good
Yep.
job of building a foundation on this, And we should continue with that. I know in the city administration and all the different departments have worked hard on this. There's no question about it. But we do need, when we open up any type of emergency shelter, we do need making sure all the interests are addressed in the city of Worcester and making sure people are helped out. So thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you. Councilor King?
Yeah, Attell has been doing all of the
Madam
outreach
Chair.
stuff. He just shows up at the event. She's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
walking every
So
single Friday,
appreciate
walking and
it.
talking to every single
You know,
business
as
owner that is in the
my
abutting
colleague
area.
mentioned, we just wrapped up
She is talking to all of the
our economic
homeowners that are
development
in that
committee meeting. We
area.
talked
She
about
is doing an
inclusionary
amazing
zoning
deal with the
and the
outreach, and
details.
Petty is just
Yeah.
riding her coattails. And she's
We
letting
know
him, and I'm
that
actually kind of
looking at an individual who would
been a
qualify
little
at
upset about that.
80% AMI, they would need to make for one person, I think it's a significant amount. It might be like $30 an hour or something like that. For someone at 60%, you're talking about having to make.
Yeah, she somehow does the job of being a full-time city councilor while holding down a whole other full-time job and being a mom.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
crazy.
Like, she's Superwoman. I don't know how she does it.
At the very least we can do with our inclusionary zoning. You know, Mr. Chairman, as I'm out in the community, I'm able to see and talk to folks. And just a day or two ago, I was approached by a few different folks just asking what's going to happen next. We know we're approaching a recession. We know that services are taxed. They're unavailable. They are wait lists for all sorts of things. The price of electricity, gas, and our taxes, and all of those things are increasing. And folks want to know from our electeds what's going to
As long as you keep
happen.
your money in it.
Something's got to give. I know this administration has been left with a lot in its lap. I have confidence that City Manager Eric Batista will be up to the task. But we're going to really need to look at budget. We're going to look at reorganizing. We're going to look at personnel. We're going to look at how we're doing the work of the city. And this is part of that. So certainly we know that it doesn't take much at this point to be homeless. We've heard the stories tonight about landlords hiking rents. We know that it's a real phenomenon. We know that elderly housing is something that we need to do. And I once again, talk about the sandwich generation that's taking care of their young ones. And
Is this a common term?
At the same time while working and trying to do everything else.
I want to be part of the sandwich generation so bad. I love
I feel like
sandwiches.
you are. You've sat at a Subway in a Walmart and eaten a sandwich. If that doesn't make you part of the sandwich generation,
In
I
the
don't know what
saddest
does.
of Walmart subways.
I was born in the sandwich generation.
Necessarily somewhere out on the street.
I want to be a part of the
So
sandwich.
Gen Xers?
To relatives, it could be
No,
sandwich?
he's well, kind of.
They're in public housing facilities.
Who is it that supports Arby's, for instance, if not Gen X?
Think about the work
I love Arby's, and I am solidly a millennial.
Yenni, you're making some very bold but questionable food declarations tonight. I say we just tap the brakes a bit here before we get ourselves in trouble.
On those sorts of things, eating centers or cooling centers or whatever it may be. In this
Fans of Arby's are sound enough in the chat. I mean, we have one of the only ones in the state, right? There's like 6, and we have one in Auburn. You have to go into friggin' Auburn. But
report back on what that is. I know that
Arby's is fucking disgusting.
All fast food is disgusting. It's just
Auburn has kind of
filth.
become Auburn has become like the obscure, like dated fast food mecca. There's still a
Yeah.
Friendly's out there. There's an Arby's. There's, and yeah, I mean, you got a Wendy's right across the street. I know Wendy's is still around, but you don't really think of Wendy's much anymore. But that Friendly's Arby's combo, there's something going
I
on.
bet
there.
they got they probably have a Long John Silver's out there.
See the efforts.
That's Framingham.
Our delegation here in the city is the best in the state. Our Central Mass delegation.
You know you're in a real economically depressed area when you see a Long John Silver's.
Representatives. And we really need to kind of.
I think there was a
connect
Long
with
John
one
Silver's
another.
by the
And I'll
Natick
just offer
Mall, but I
myself
haven't
up
been
as
out there in
chairman.
forever.
Hello to the administration, if and when those meetings begin or resume, I'm open to participating. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Councilor Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
There's a analytical way to gauge how downstream from the culture an area is relative to their proximity to a Long John Silver's. The closer you are to a Long John Silver's, the further you are away from the sort of the current moment.
Easily look at
it's kind of weird if you look in Worcester from that context, because like
out in the streets,
we
but
were
also,
devoid of fast food restaurants for the longest time. Like we were one of the only places in the country that a McDonald's closed in before it reopened further down on Main Street. But it wasn't until like I was a teenager that you started having a lot of fast food pop up. It was super dependent on like mom and pop local restaurants and whatnot. And I feel like a lot of the pressure that local restaurants are starting to feel now is because with population growth and earnings going up a little bit, you have the fast food chains and whatnot rushing in to fill some of that gap.
City manager about it, which was like Somerville City Council.
Yeah, but like there's a serious gap of late night offerings where like 9 o'clock comes around and you can't find anything.
I'll never forget I think it was the first powwow, sitting with a group of artists at night, and like one of them just kind of pulled me aside and was like, I thought this was a college town. Like, what do you mean? Like, where the fuck do you get tacos on a Tuesday night? And like, yeah, I was totally lost. That's
Thank you. So we'll send that to
McDonald's.
Those in favor.
The Fix is actually open pretty late.
We are on
The McTaco. I mean, I usually end up over at the Boynton. That's a good holds. But I don't know.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 11X. We're going to adopt an.
That's what I'm saying, Matt. It's like there isn't a lot of fast food in Worcester, and there's a lot of chains that are starting to slide in. It's interested to see what happens to the landscape for restaurants as that continues to happen.
Yes. Mr. Russell? Yes. Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. 12A, that the City Council see a list that does hereby go on record as part of
As record.
1762 and House 2385, an act to increase regional transit accessibility in the Commonwealth, filed by Senator Susan Moran and Representative Natalie Blaze, respective to SD 1762 and HD 2385, support more funding for regional transit authorities, which includes Worcester Regional Transit Authority, WRTA.
As it reads.
Councilor Hagi, along with Councilor King, Rivera, and Merrill Carlson. Roll
Oh,
call.
tell us so done.
Councilor Bergman? Yes. Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Gia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
She's like, as it reads, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell? Yes. Councilor
How late
Toomey?
is Growth 352 open for?
Communications City Clerk.
Open till.
The company ordinance relative to amending the salary of the city auditor.
No worries, Yenni.
Motions to advertise. Yeah, roll call.
I went there once. I should be pretty good.
Reported. Reports to the Economic Development Committee.
Go Grande is my late night
A.
go to.
Yeah, 10:30.
In terms of late night, my brain's like, did the Denny's reopen?
Which
I don't know.
one?
The one on Lincoln Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still open.
Oh, okay, because it was closed for a while. I don't remember
Okay, 16.
the last time I've been up that way.
A,
So,
16F.
but
Motion to adopt
you
on
don't
roll
go
call.
to Denny's. You just end up at Denny's.
Roll call.
I went to a Denny's in northern Indiana recently.
Calorio?
Yes.
I was
It was a
literally
really
about
good
to say-
Denny's.
Councilor Carlson?
Yeah, it was a really good Denny's. And across from the street, there was a billboard for Bosak Nissan.
Mayor Petty?
BOSAK Nissan. And we had a lot of fun with that.
13C, accept and go adopt. All those in favor, opposed, so
I think the
ordered.
last time I ate at a Denny's was in my band days. And I lived off of
Yep.
those $5 bowls.
18A and 18B, motions to accept.
Spend my
I got
per
the
diem on a
country
bowl.
fried steak.
Oh my God, you went for it.
So gross.
16B, motions to accept. All those in favor, opposed, so
It
ordered.
was like it was comically gross.
On the
Comically
order of
gross.
Councilor Morris Bergman and Councilman Candy Merrill Carlson request standing committee on public service and transportation hold a public discussion with the WRTA relative to the removal of the bus route that passes the Electarium 222 Harrington Way.
Give me that awful waffle.
File, and was held
All right,
by-
first person to come up with the sex act name the awful waffle wins.
Just go to. It has to
Mr.
exist.
Chairman, I'd like to leave them here, so I believe I.
Checking.
It has something to do with maple
votes,
syrup
that is
and a
correct.
naked fat boy.
I'm sorry for
No,
clarification.
I'm sorry. I'm
Wait, what
sorry,
is
we
she
already
saying
held
about leaving?
4 votes last week. You need 6 to put them on the table.
So I'll ask my colleagues for 6 votes.
On both of these.
An off
16,
waffle is a game where a bunch of guys stand around a waffle and jerk off on it.
Councilor King.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Erhadokin. I was talking about the salute your shorts thing.
I'll certainly accept, I guess, the additional hold. But with regards to 19B, I know there's been testimony about this and what have you. I've not been able to attend those meetings. So I would just ask either the clerk or the administration if they could get to me and perhaps others.
Wait,
some
which
sort of
one?
Something
Wait,
as relates to
what-
city
what meeting?
responsibility, so I have an answer.
The WRTA stuff,
that I
talking
can
about
forward.
holding 19A and B.
That I may remember that I heard in a meeting or heard of. So if there's something specific and procedures or something that could be emailed over.
Yeah, we watched a little bit of it.
I'll support holding it, but I really do need that information.
Okay. And now those in favor, opposed, so ordered. We'll take 19A and 19B. Put it on the table. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman.
Just a point of clarification, Mr. Chairman.
There was just a lot of public comment, and I
Get the-
rescheduled for more of it.
Taking it off the table.
Agreed,
No.
Epic Strat.
So right now,
I love Waffle House.
Right now, it's
I would
tabled on
live at
privilege
Waffle
for the
House.
second time. So the third time has to be it has to be tabled, not under privilege.
So we're taking it off the table. I'm going to have another vote.
Yes, you'd have to have another
Which one?
vote. That
Thank-
is correct.
Thank you.
Roll
Yes.
call. Okay,
Yes.
roll call.
19A and 19. Councilor Bergman.
Yes.
Councilor Calorio.
Yes.
Councilor Gia.
Yes.
Councilor King.
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson.
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilor Rivera.
Yes.
Councilor Rose.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Okay, anything under suspension?
So by putting this in that tabled section, it basically goes in the area where items go to die. But it also means that it's on the agenda and anyone can speak on the WRTA at any meeting.
You're up, Councilmember Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Which is kind of
Gonna
interesting.
request The city manager requests the Commissioner of Public.
Bill, I
Works
just asked ChatGPT to describe a sex act called the Awful Waffle, and it kicked me out of my account. So thank you.
Zone on both sides of Schuschler Road from.
Should have read those terms of service, I guess.
Incredible.
To you, Mr.
Incredible.
Chairman.
Usually it'll just say, I can't answer that.
No,
I don't
this
know why it
told me
would have kicked
clearly
you
that
out.
it was a violation of their terms and service. It might have been not the first time I asked it something I shouldn't have.
Because the signage is spaced out.
It just says, "I'm sick of your shit, Brendan."
Some additional, what they're asking for.
Troubler, that was that they're moving those items about the WRTA 19A and B to that tabled section of the agenda rather than it being held each week. Which means it's on the agenda going forward every week until they deal with it or kick the item off of there. And there are some items on there that have been on there for
Library tomorrow, if anybody's interested in
5+ years now.
Yeah, Connie Luke's actually still
Yeah.
has items that have been
Yeah,
tabled.
she still
They're
has
still-
items.
At the Epicureum, and if people are
So
interested
it's
in the
anyone
library,
can speak on any
yeah.
item that's on an agenda at a open
Okay.
meeting.
So,
So technically those items are available for that.
ordered.
And usually Petty will go like, okay, well, we'll suspend the rules for that, but not always. And allow people to speak on it. And I've almost gotten cut off one time where I was like, hey, why are we like leaving this on there? Like, what's going on here? We're talking about this on the agenda, but the item's been here for a while. And he's just like, keep your items to the agenda. I'm like, that is on the agenda. And he's like, you're right. But we have, like, it gets confusing whether or not those items are technically considered part of the agenda for the open comment period. Technically, they're
Yeah.
supposed to. Petty doesn't always rule it that way.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. So yeah, I'd say the big takeaway from this meeting is Kate Toomey holding all of the items of actual importance and doing it in an incredibly disrespectful way that I can't wait to pull the video of because
What
holy
an
shit.
awful human being. Like
Yeah,
seriously, just an awful human being.
just like the stupidity of being that terrible and just knowing you're going to be on the camera or not
Like
not even
having to know
thinking
that.
about not thinking about it or not caring, you know. So we'll see what, if anything, she puts on the agenda for the we can vote her out of office this November. That would be even if everything else goes wrong, if we somehow get Kate Toomey off of the city council in November, it would be a huge win.
Are there are there any rules that would prevent us from having a weekly citizens petition asking the council or the administration to name November vote Kate Toomey out of office month? Just as a reminder that, like, I mean,
yeah.
Technically,
Stratton had
Petty
to
has
ask the
control
question.
over anything going on the agenda, so that
Yeah,
probably wouldn't seem
Petty
like
would
a-
overrule that. Yeah.
How about if, like, if you when you like handwrite and submit those things, don't they still, even if they're not part of the agenda, don't they get into the packet? Well,
I'm not
it's worth
sure
a shot.
actually. Yeah, I think it is worth a shot. Vote Kate Toomey out of office month. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and then other than that, really nothing too important happened at this meeting. It's kind of been the trend since January.
No Kate November.
No, no Kate November. Yes. See, that is a winning message. No Kate, no Kathleen November.
That doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
No Kate November is so good.
That actually is good
I
too.
will not. I'm not going to Kate once the entire month of November.
Got him, coach.
Oh,
this
boy.
was, yeah, kind of a waste of all of our time once again.
Another depressing night in Worcester.
Welcome to Worcester. We had a full council chamber for an important thing, and we said, well, we have to start the meeting where we don't do anything on purpose. So all of you guys have to go home.
You can go now.
Thank you for speaking. We're not going to do anything on this because we have to start the meeting we have every week where we pretend that we're a governing body. Thank you, though, for your time. Yeah, and that's why you tune in here to
It was
Worcester
so
Council Theater
disrespectful.
3000. So just like the back-to-back of them delaying that meeting to Kate Toomey delaying anything on police accountability is just stunning. It's just like fucking, what are you even doing there? Why do you even want to be there? You know?
Yeah, legit.
So I don't know, but what are you gonna do?
Well, they want to be there so that they can keep things as is for themselves.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
It's basically the NIMBY crowd in action.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Can you imagine if there was ever a serious proposal to like look at single family zoning? The city council would have their heads would be exploding like the frickin' aliens in Mars Attacks when they play that country song.
Getting rid of single family zoning, you mean?
Yeah, getting rid of single family zoning. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we would see like the Exorcist head spin thing.
Yeah, we would.
It's really not that big of a deal, though. That's the crazy part, right? Like it's only a matter of time before that becomes just what you have to do because urban planning necessitates it, right? Like you're running out of space,
Right.
you got to go up, you got to change the way you look at picket fences and whatnot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's only taking us so long to even come close to that conversation because we have the luxury of being surrounded by a bunch of old agricultural towns that can accept the overflow of people who refuse to live anywhere near brown folk, right? Like, we can still pretend that's not the reason Holden exists, but it's the reason Holden exists.
Yeah, right. Yep, that's very true. It's very
And
true.
Leicester.
And
yeah, no,
Leicester,
totally.
yeah.
I mean, all of our surrounding towns. It's
Leicester is definitely the place that the Trumpians go to.
Yeah, for sure.
We have our fair share of.
Brendan's camera and microphone hate him tonight.
Yeah.
He got through the
Yeah,
entire
no, they
stream.
definitely hate us. Like, there's definitely people who are Trumpian here too. But like, have you driven down Henshaw?
Yeah. No, there's some weird sections of Leicester. Yeah. Like weirder than what could be going outside Bill's window right now. I mean, there's some really, really spicy sections of Leicester, depending on your political leanings.
So yeah, Bill's gonna invest in Kevlar.
Yeah, I need to.
Ceramic plates, Bill. Get in touch after the show. I'll point you in the right direction. But yeah, no journalist should be focused on Kevlar. You need lightweight ceramic plates these days.
So you guys should go on and buy his bumper stickers so that he can afford all the latest in tech and protection.
Yeah. I'm gonna need it. So this is I'm getting some pretty spicy texts about Kate Toomey being very, very mad that we accused her of looking at her phone during the prayer.
Oh, we accused her of doing that. She didn't
Accused? There's
do.
video proof.
How dare you
We have
accuse her?
video proof of it.
Yeah.
Kate Toomey.
Do we have that up yet so we can just replay?
No, because the one clip that was there didn't actually get it. So, and I can't clip it myself until after our stream.
Yeah, it's first order of business for me is to go get the clip on my phone.
Well,
on the city council
let's
stream.
promise ourselves then that we'll get that clip. We'll post it to the Instagram account for the show, and then we can all make sure everyone who's in the comments, we can make sure that Kate wakes up to her Twitter feed being completely spammed with that video clip. I don't want Bill to go to bed feeling as though he's the accuser. That's not a.
Yeah.
Oh, I am though.
Follow us on Instagram, WCT3000.
Yep, that's it. That's right.
Posted on Twitter too, or are we cross posting to Instagram?
We'll post it everywhere.
Okay.
People got to see it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I just don't get it.
You don't understand Instagram?
No, I just have not been able to wrap my head around using that platform to its actual effectiveness. I don't know.
But you're all over TikTok.
I understand Twitter. I understand TikTok. I understand Facebook.
No, I mean you're all over TikTok. I mean, we all pay attention to your dances and whatnot. That's It's cool that you just bypass.
Oh yeah, no,
Instagram.
I don't really give two shits about the dances.
Those
all I
splits that you
see,
were doing
all
were
I
impressive.
see is disability Twitter, not Twitter, TikTok, and LGBT TikTok and book talk. That's my
Book
TikTok.
talk.
Yeah, I read probably close to 60 to 70 books a year. Some years I've hit 90.
Dang,
I'm
that's
a little obsessed.
quite a few. That is quite a
It helps
few.
being unemployed for the last few years, though.
I'm sure it does.
I've run out of Netflix shows.
Excellent. Bill's unemployed too, but he calls himself a writer, and you should check it
Yes,
out at
that's right.
billshaner.substack.com.
Yeah. I don't have a job, but that's my job. Please subscribe. Please buy my bumper stickers.
These
And if you did order merch from me from any time between early November and now, I will be putting that in the mail because I just noticed that you did. So I'll be going to the post office. That might be contingent on my having a car that's legal to drive. So there's a lot of X factors right now going on. Please buy my bumper stickers so that I can afford to fix my car. Sometimes life is just pain, pure pain.
You know who else makes
yeah.
pain? Bryan and his podcast about wrestling. So go listen to it. Parts Unknown. It'll be nice to pay homage to our friend Bryan, who is a ghost.
Yeah, who's no longer with us.
No longer with us. He is a ghost.
Yeah.
Brendan does things.
I do stuff.
Yeah.
Get in touch if you need stuff done. But
Yeah.
I say it every week. In all seriousness, if anybody's looking for a place to live, like by all means, reach out. Even if you just got questions about buying, renting, whatever, happy to do what I can to be helpful.
Even if
Not
you're
a
just
sales
looking-
pitch. Just feel free to ask.
Yeah, he has insight on every neighborhood in the city. He can tell you history about this place that you never knew you wanted to know.
And that's only because chances are good have been high in every house in the city. Close to it anyway. Any house that was built before 1998, like there's a really good chance that I was tripping balls in their bathroom at one point in time.
Will Bergman says you think any of us can afford houses. He does rentals too.
I do rentals, but also, I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, that's the weird part, right? Like if you assuming credit scores and whatnot, or that there's a lot of stuff that's in flux. Like you don't need a lot of cash on hand to buy a house. Like, and I'm not the kind of person that would ever allow someone to make themselves house poor. Like there are options in the city. Like condos are a great example. Like we have twice as many condos for sale in Worcester than we have houses right now, and a lot of them are in really nice neighborhoods, and there are some that are quite reasonable. But
Dude, are you kidding me? I just pulled up the feed, and even with this one screen grab I have right here, Kate Toomey texting, and she holds her phone to her belly like this the entire time, and she just goes and then puts it back like this. And
Show
she
that
had
again.
What?
Show that image
Oh.
again real quick, because it's also even better next to Sarai's Black Lives Matter T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so perfect.
The imagery is just so gross. I mean, it's perfect for our purposes, but it's just so fucking gross. And yes, Troubler, I do work as a real estate agent. I'm licensed in Massachusetts.
So many tabs, Bill.
What do you mean?
You can see it in the reflection on your phone.
Half
Oh,
of them are
no.
deep fakes.
Wait, you can see the tabs?
No, the reflection when you were holding your phone up, it had the
On the computer.
I could only kind of generally tell the amount of bumps.
Oh boy.
This is
I'm
fair.
pretty sure I have more tabs open though.
This
so
is fair play. Kate has the opportunity to go hard against Bill now by outing him for all the tabs that he's got open during the show. Look, I mean, this is
Listen.
is how
I
the
was
world
only
works.
I was only Googling Kate Toomey deepfake pornography out of morbid curiosity. All right, that's the only reason. I was not looking at it. I don't make a habit of looking at it. It was just morbid curiosity. All right.
Bo Bergman, you can actually rent and buy under a pseudonym. You would have to do it through creating a series of LLCs and trusts, but it's totally doable. So yeah, you don't have to out yourself just because you want a place to live.
But then whoever your roommate is, you have to get them to swear to, unless you have a really convincing Mo Bergman costume.
You just got to do the thing. There's someone on TikTok, what's her, ski mask girl, right? Hangs out with that Tony douchebag, right? Like, I mean, you can just wear a ski mask all day. Nobody has to know who you are. You be a very public persona and just wear a ski mask.
I mean, Santos's roommate didn't know that he was George Santos either.
Had no idea. Yeah.
Well,
True.
Yeah.
True.
DeVolder.
All right. I think I'm done.
Yeah. So we were on our way
Let's-
home. Lastly,
let's call
Seltzer Time. Seltzer Time podcast is coming back. Ricky and I have 2 episodes in the can, more coming. Check it out
Cool.
at seltzertime.com. Yenni, do you want to hit us with anything? Look like you wanted to say something.
I am hopefully going to be seeing some stuff come up about the municipal broadband status at the next UTIE committee meeting, which will hopefully be towards the end of February.
Great.
So that'll be an interesting thing to see an update on from the city that said that they were going to give us quarterly updates and still haven't given us one a year later. No, our city doesn't do that. No, never.
No.
No.
All right.
All right, y'all. See you on Twitter and
Have
see
a
you
great
next
night.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Have a good night.
No, I'm
everyone.
not giving her the burrito.